beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey, good morning. Happy Monday.
Hey.
Happy September 29th. Can you guys
No.
believe we're only like a couple days away or a couple months away from 2026? Like, what happens? Remember when you're little and it's like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to be 10. Then you're like, my sweet 16, and then 21, and then it's all downhill. That's pretty much where we are.
Wednesday's a big day.
Wednesday?
Yeah, I'm not supposed to say anything, though.
Oh. I don't even know what he's talking about.
If you're going to buy something, don't buy till Wednesday.
Okay, well, you just opened up that door. So I'm going to read this to you guys. All right? Hi, Wendy.
Oh.
I'm a volunteer firefighter in northwestern Pennsylvania. Structure fires are one of the dirtiest jobs in firefighters' job description. After the fire is out, we have our gear, our hoses, tools, trucks, etc. that also need to be cleaned. He writes, also need cleaned. Good Pennsylvania boy. Following a structure fire last week, I brought my sniper from home and we went to work on the interior of the apparatus. What a great feeling to know that my crew is protected from the things we cannot see. I love this product. Terry Weber, Captain, Oakland Township Volunteer Fire Department. I think Terry actually is a woman. So I beg your pardon, Terry, because I don't know many men who end Terry in an I.
Salute them.
I beg your pardon. Disinfect with sniper. Don't buy it until Wednesday.
I'm not going to say that. I'm just saying.
Don't buy it until Wednesday.
It's a year anniversary.
You shouldn't buy it until Wednesday.
And usually when there's an anniversary sale. I'm just saying most
Don't
times.
buy it until Wednesday. Did we make that abundantly clear? Don't buy it until Wednesday. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Hey, we're honest with you. There's nothing worse than signing up for something or
He
getting
knows
something
better than to text me before the show.
And then finding out the next day that it's on sale. That sucks, and we
Yes.
don't like that. Okay, now I want to tell you about something right now, okay?
Uh-oh.
Crypto.com. So I don't know. I will freely admit to you, I know very little about cryptocurrencies. I know very little about AI. I'm kind of stumbling into this minefield. A lot of you know an awful lot more than I. So when Rumble got in touch with me and they're like, look, crypto.com, they're not selling anything. They want you to talk about this because we want people in your audience to become acclimated to this whole idea of cryptocurrencies. And I was like, okay. So I want to read to you what they want me to say. And I think down the road, not this week, but we're going to start getting more ads from crypto.com. And I think we'll be able to make sense of it. Okay. So here's what they said. Cryptocurrency apparently is no longer emerging. It's already here. And this latest move, and it's a pretty big deal because it involves President Trump. This latest move cements that reality in a really big way. Trump Media has just inked a huge $6.4 billion deal, right, with Yorkville Acquisition Company or Corporation and Crypto.com. This is the crypto platform trusted by millions of users worldwide. So they're teaming up to scoop up $6.4 billion in CRO. I guess it's crypto. The powerhouse token that fuels fast, low fee, and it says DeFi, DEFI. Okay. This is not my language. I'm just telling you. And real world perks like cash back on your spends to establish America's first CRO treasury, Trump Media Group CRO strategy. Okay, they want you to know about that. And when it's all done, this new company is going to be the biggest publicly traded CRO holder out there. So if you want in on the action, you want to learn more, go to crypto.com today. Let's make crypto great again.
I'm gonna have to look into it.
I literally, and I told them, I'm like, seriously, I told my guy at Rumble, I'm like, Alex, I don't understand with this. He's like, you don't have to, okay? We just want you to share the good news. 6.4, Trump Media Group, crypto.com. I'm like, okay. For more information on the proposed business combination, check out Yorkville Acquisition Corp's public filings. I'm not going to do that. But crypto.com. So those of you out there smarter than I am, way more involved in this, this is what they wanted me to say to you today. And I was like, okay. Trump Media, okay. And my stupid camera just started going nutty again. It just started, God, that drives me nuts.
We're going to have to keep updating that every Monday.
I should have. I'm going to do it right now. Son of a mother. Next. Sorry, guys. Install. And it'll say, this isn't working. You want to override it? Not supposed to. And I'm like, yeah, override it.
Yeah, I have to override it because you guys won't let me do anything else.
Next. And literally, it just does it.
Yes.
Usually when I'm looking lovingly into the camera at you people. Making love to you with my eyes.
Mm. Mm. You gotta really get.
That's so rude. Don't do that.
It's still moving.
I know it's not done yet, Dingleberry.
What?
See, it's all about I have to do everything.
Holy. Wow.
4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America. Greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program. Common sense, conservative values, 3 hours a day. It goes by so fast, you're almost like, oh my gosh, what just happened to me? That's how it works here at the Wendy Bell radio program. And if you get our app, WendyBellRadio.com. I know, catchy, hard to put together. If you get our app, you can follow along the live video stream. We do something that really nobody else does. We live stream a radio show and simulcast it on television. How about that? And you can get it cheap and easy, totally for free, WendyBellRadio.com. Good show for you today. As always, I would show up with nothing less. And if you are new, I welcome you, and I hope you come on back tomorrow and that you bring a friend. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, so I'll wake up to another story, another tragedy. More people senselessly killed, this time in Michigan at a Mormon church. A guy who apparently served in the Iraq War, a veteran, guy 41 years old, for whatever reason, goes haywire, plows his truck into the building, goes into the building through the hole he made and just starts mowing people down. Shoots a bunch of people. We got 4 dead, Huge fire. If you saw any of the drone footage, any of the aerial shots. And once fire crews finally knocked this thing down, they found more people dead from the fire itself. I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why. I mean, so many other things we've seen in the past. The shootings of schools, people who are transgender, who the left has gone through great lengths to try to hide their manifestos or whatever their diaries describe as their motivation. Obviously, when you look at something like that, you look at the transgender community, you see a vulnerable population that has been manipulated, that has been groomed, that has fallen prey to this ideology of just sheer lunacy, because nobody in their right minds would say that a child can determine what gender they are and that they should start taking medicine and go down a very slippery slope that irreversibly changes everything about who they are and quite possibly, and one could say probably, would lead them on a path to severe depression and suicide. Like, in what world would anybody say that's great sense? We should totally do that. And a bunch of hospitals, they should totally get in on that. And we should have a lot of doctors out there prescribing all these hormones because that makes sense. No, it doesn't. At least in shootings that involve these transgender people, you can wrap your mind around the twists and the turns of how they've been manipulated. Now, you're responsible for your own decisions. But by golly, they sure are led the way, aren't they? All of the rhetoric about ICE agents, these are, Nazis, all this lunacy that the left has fed. They fed an unstable segment of their electorate, if you will. To go out and to look at people who are doing a job that up until Donald Trump's reelection was a noble, honorable, and necessary job. Protecting our borders, making sure people weren't slipping in through the cracks, people who want to do harm to us. All of a sudden, you've got the media, you've got the left, you've got hacks in Congress talking about the outrageous work of ICE agents. It's not outrageous to clean up the mess that Joe Biden's auto pen and a laundry list of Democrats, and by the way, willow rhinos, allowed to happen. Like, loosely, you can get your mind around why. Why. You can connect those dots. Some Iraq war guy comes back, goes off the deep end, for some reason targets a church, Latter-day Saints, plows in, mows people down, guns them down. Why? I can't tell you. I hear that we are in a spiritual war. I don't really think that's what it is. I don't think it is about religion per se. I think we are in a war over God. I think in order for evil, for darkness, for Satan, the devil, whatever you want to put into that, in that moniker, Chuck Schumer, just kidding, but you know what I'm talking about. These people who are dark need you in the darkness. The same way people who make money off of big pharma need you to be sick. They have a vested interest in there not being a cure for cancer. They need you on the drip. They need you on the never-ending prescription pad. They need you addicted to whatever is supposed to, quote-unquote, treat what ails you. And if the ultimate sanitizing, if the ultimate victory comes with God, we got to go after it. Got to attack it. And that's what this is. Look, I don't talk about God. I don't talk about prayer. I don't talk about church commonly on this program. I believe in all three strongly. It's personal, as is your belief system. And I have struggled in my own way, in my inconsistencies with church, to hit a path in my life and to feel very dark and desperate and needing of something, and I feel very hypocritical to return to the church, to slide into the pew and all of a sudden pick up where I left off as though, okay, yeah, I fell off the wagon for a while, but here I am, save me. It's not how I feel, but it feels that way inside. It feels disingenuous. But I will say, there is nothing quite like your belief in God to save you from the darkest moments of your life. And you never know when they're coming around the corner. I think that when you believe in that higher power, when you believe in the Almighty, when you feel comfort in your darkness, and more than that, you feel hope, even when it's all been taken from you, and you feel like a tattered remnant of what you want to be. And we've all been there. And we all go there from time to time, and it sucks. But it happens. There is something so comforting. It makes you go to bed at night and wake up the next day hopeful that maybe today's the day that things are going to get better. See the left, the dark, the evil, the people who want to topple what we believe in this country. They need to drive a huge wedge between you and God. It's impossible. They can ram trucks into churches and start fires. They can gun down people. They can run through a crowded parade route. They can go into classrooms and do things that are unthinkable. But if you wake up the next morning, hopeful, believing that you are not alone, that no matter how awful things might be, no matter how many mistakes you might have made, no matter how you are not worthy in your mind of somebody else's forgiveness or their grace, and you are in a mode of absolutely chewing yourself up, there is one place that you go, and it is to God. Doesn't matter if it's in church. Doesn't matter if you're shopping at Walmart. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car. Because as long as you're having that conversation, you are heard. And there is great comfort in that. Of course, evil wants to cut off that lifeline, your ultimate phone a friend. That's the only way. They can kill us. They can steal from us. They can lie to us. They can manipulate us. And they can look in our faces and tell us all the while, no, that's not what we're doing. But as long as you have that connection, and you have that love, and you have that respect, and you are grateful for that God, you're untouchable. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's get into these audio sound bites, all right? I got a bunch today. Brock would call it an onslaught, I would probably tell you, right? We'll start with this one, Scott Jennings, to an incredulous panel on CNN over the weekend. Look, don't get lost in the weeds of all this James Comey indictment stuff, because his federal indictment boils down to only one thing: evidence. They either got it or they don't. And according to a grand jury, they got it. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
I was having this conversation with Kate because she came in to say, "Did you see the church fire?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Here's how you know when they start that BS about the right and their, the domestic terrorism on the right and all the mass killings." And I just said to her, I was like, think about it. Just logically think about it. When's the last time someone drove a truck or shot up a mosque?
Mhm.
The right doesn't do that. The right knows the left can't go to a church because the left isn't there.
They tried to get that guy Robert Bowers who shot up the Tree of Life.
Yeah.
The synagogue.
Was that his name?
Was it Bowers? Right.
No, Bowers was the other guy that shot up the McDonald's.
Oh yeah. There's
Yeah.
so many. Whatever that guy's name was, they tried to peg him as being right wing.
Yeah.
Because he didn't like Jews, and I'm like, how do you connect those dots?
I have no idea.
I live in a Jewish neighborhood. Like, the Tree of Life is a half of a mile from my house. My church, our Catholic church, is literally half a mile up one road, not even up to the Tree of Life. We don't look at each other like that.
Well,
I'm not like, look at the Jews. I'm like, my neighbors. What the hell are we doing?
Let's look at it this way too.
That's not right wing extremism.
Every year,
what are you doing?
In multiple cities, there's gay pride parades. You never hear anybody driving a car through or mowing people down.
I want my
Of all the
rainbow back.
Yeah. Of all the times you could mow down a bunch of people, this doesn't happen.
I would wait until the guy was walking around with assless chaps on, and then I would go,
oh, God.
I'm kidding.
No, I watched it one time waiting for the bus.
It's horrendous.
And
it's
they
horrendous.
looked at me, and I'm like, there's a kid right here. What are you doing?
Yeah. Let me tell you, Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. He's on my list. Dan Ireland, my electrician. He could be yours as well if you live in Pittsburgh. Go to IrelandContracting.com. Look, I need new landscape lights, okay? I want to better light my American flag at night. Easy. Well, not really. But if you've got Dan Ireland on your side at Ireland Contracting, 100%. Home exterior lighting, even some interior stuff too, electrical stuff, anything for your house on the outside, roofing, siding, soffit fascia, gutters, downspouts, windows, sun tunnels, skylights, all this, IrelandContracting.com. Their son, Dan, is the electrician. He is fan-damn-tastic. Fan-damn-tastic. Ask Paul from Stinkies. Dan did all of his exterior lights. And his son Kevin, I think. Yeah. Maybe even Bobby. I don't know. Fantastic. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. I have to say I'm a little fussy.
Oh, then I have to play something else.
You were going to do a magic.
I was.
Now we're going to do something a little edgier. It's not
It's
Megadeth.
It's a fluid situation.
You know, it's easy to forget, and welcome back to all of you on the Wendy Bell radio program. It's easy to forget that what we go through is so cyclical, right? Like what we're dealing with in 2025 is not that different than what happened 30 years ago in 1996. Did you guys know the Heritage Foundation did this big study? It was called Why Religion Matters. The impact of religious practice on social stability. Think about it. Very basic family structure. What do we believe in the faith-based world, right? One man, one woman, right? Man and woman get together, make children. Children are the family. Family raises itself. Family grows together. Family values. Family goes to church. What do we learn at church? We learn beyond the golden rule. We learn about scripture. We learn about history dating back thousands of years. But there are overarching messages that are meant for us every single Sunday. Little windows into your world. Has anybody from, what are the Jehovah's Witnesses? Has anybody from the Jehovah's Witnesses come to your door and knocked at your door and presented you a copy of their kind of missalette for the week or what have you? It's the Watchtower. Whenever these people, and the Jehovah's Witnesses by and large are black, come into my neighborhood and they knock on my door, I always answer. And without fail, that little thing that they give me, which is like a 2-page thing, hey, this is what we're talking about this week, is completely applicable to something going on in my life that I'm struggling with. It's almost like God says, hey, Jehovah's Witnesses, go on over to Wendy's house. She's struggling. Knock on her door. She'll answer and give her the good news. I believe this stuff. Look, if you don't have dad at home and you've got mom raising kids, mom's out working multiple jobs, kids get into trouble. Facts. When dad is around and he's the one who's working maybe and mom's watching the kids, you've got structure and you've got fear. Fear is a powerful motivator. You don't want dad whooping your butt when he gets home. Start to behave in certain ways. 30 years ago, they were doing studies on this. Shoot, they were doing this back 60 years ago. We're in a crisis. It happens. But we know the way, right? All right, so I want to play this sound for you guys. This is Scott Jennings. And you're going to hear Abby Phillip. She is the host of this CNN panel. And what she's talking about is President Trump basically kicking out this attorney, Eric Siebert, as the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, replacing him because he refused to file charges, mortgage fraud charges against Letitia James, who made it her life's mission to go after Donald Trump on day one, replacing him with this other attorney, Lindsay Halligan. She's got to go before a federal grand jury. Clock is ticking, statute of limitations. Oh my gosh, got to hurry this up. Presents evidence to a grand jury. You either make it or you don't. And she made it. 2 out of the 3 charges came through for James Comey. This is how Scott Jennings dismantles the argument on this panel. And by the way, you're also going to hear a guy named Ahmed Baba, and he is a columnist for the Left Wing Independent. I want you to listen to the give and go. It's fascinating.
He seems to be kneecapping his own prosecutors here.
Well, look, that's the thing. There's a system, and the system includes grand juries and juries of ordinary Americans who get in a room and make decisions. He can't order people to be indicted, and he can't order people to be convicted. He can express his opinion. In the case of Comey, grand jurors in a very liberal jurisdiction got together and decided that the evidence did warrant charges. Comey will go to trial, and then a jury of his peers will decide whether he is guilty or not. The president can't do anything about that. He can make commentary on it. I'm not sure if it's wise or not wise to do that, or if it will matter at all. But ultimately, I'll just say what Jim Comey said when Donald Trump was indicted. It's a good day for the rule of law because we have a system, and the system is in place, and the system is working as it was designed, with average, ordinary Americans making decisions about how our laws will be enforced.
But you know, you said that he can't actually order the indictment of someone. I think he just proved that he could. I think what he did, the series of events that took place here, we have to actually be clear about what happened, right? He tried to pressure Eric Siebert at the Eastern District of Virginia to pursue this prosecution. He did not. The U.S. prosecutors there said they did not see enough evidence. So he forces him out. He publicly declares to Pam Bondi, you need to target these political enemies, specifically labeling James Comey. And then, right after that, installs Lindsay Halligan, a former insurance lawyer with no prosecutorial experience, to go in there. And then within days, Comey's indicted, even after rank and file prosecutors, they gave her a declination memo that said, this is why we don't think there's enough evidence. So I don't think this is just the process playing out. I think this is Donald Trump explicitly abusing his power and directing a prosecution of a political enemy.
You said we have to be very clear about what happened, and then you left out the most critical part, where a prosecutor has to go into a grand jury, present the evidence, and make the case why charges are warranted. And the grand jury has to agree with that. In this case, they did. Now, I don't know if he'll be convicted or not, but you can't leave out and deny that there's a critical step where average, ordinary Americans get put in a room and they ultimately have to decide, does a case go or does it not go? And then they will decide whether you're guilty or whether you're not guilty. That is an important part of the process that he cannot really alter or change.
I think that is such an interesting conversation. The left only has one claim. Trump is weaponizing the government against his enemies. Why do they make that claim? Because that's what the left did against Trump. The left blames Trump for doing things that he doesn't do that they've already done. What Scott Jennings is saying is Donald Trump can wield the biggest magic wand in the world. At the end of the day, the process goes thusly. You are judged by a jury of your peers. They do not get bribes from President Trump. They do not get strong-armed by the President of the United States. They have to hear the evidence and they have to decide. I think it's fantastic. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, we're going to talk about the media playing this huge role in the weaponization of government against Trump and conservatives. How much time do you have for how many examples? Next. They can't get out of their way.
Well,
Look, he can replace somebody who refuses to do a job. And then other people in the Eastern District of Virginia in that U.S. Attorney's Office can say, I can't be a part of this. When what really might be happening is they might be guilty of running interference or cover for Letitia James. Who knows? But if you're not willing to do the job and you want to quit, much like this government shutdown, okay, you go ahead. We're going to put this other person in. Oh, she has no idea. She's never done this before. She was a beauty pageant contestant. Well, she did pretty daggone well if on pretty short notice she was able to present to a grand jury. This is what I got. You know, in our justice system, you're not allowed to lie under oath. And I have these examples. This is what he said. This is what we know. This is what he said afterwards. This is what we know. Where I'm from, that's perjury. You decide yes or no. And a jury of his peers in this grand jury where everything is silent. It's all locked up. Nobody knows. It's secret. It's sealed. They decided 2 out of 3 of the things. Yeah, you've got a reasonable case here. They won't even let it limp along if they don't think there's a reasonable case to be proven, which is why the Supreme Court doesn't involve itself in so many things, right? Like, I don't see that you've got a reasonable path to victory, so we're not going to waste our time. Grand jury was like, well, on 2/3 of it, you got a pretty good case. And wait to hear who's coming next. I think we can chew on a lot of that.
I think it's ridiculous for people on the left to say Joe Biden never did this. Yes, he did. He's the one that pushed Jack Smith and Merrick Garland to speed this along and get to Mar-a-Lago and Roger Stone and
wait, Brock,
Steve
Joe
Bannon.
Biden didn't know anything.
Yeah, right. Well,
one
they may be right then.
He
didn't do it because he didn't know what was going on. But
wait
even so,
wait, Georgia Senator John Ossoff.
Oh God.
Wait until you hear that audio soundbite. And it's such a throwaway line that he makes too, which is curious. All right, I want to tell you about something else. Let me give you another sponsor today. All right, here's another one. Okay, we're going to do that later. Lean. This is easy for me. I love being able to tell you about wholesome, natural ways to help you lose weight. I have been pudgy, let's just say, several times in my life. And it's a terrible feeling. It's a terrible feeling when you can't zip up your pants, when you feel everything squeezing out over them, right? It's not a good feeling. And it takes its toll on you. And it kind of does darken every aspect of what you do. So when you finally look in the mirror and you're like, I'm done. First of all, I don't want to go on drugs to lose weight. So how do I do this? I need a little help. This is why our friends at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean. This is their #1 diet supplement. And this is the thing that helps you lose weight by doing 3 things. 1, healthy blood sugar is key, helps you maintain it. 2, stopping your cravings and cutting your appetite back. That's super helpful. That's number 2. And number 3, converting fat, zhuzh, into energy. I'm all about that. That is the secret sauce, or as my son Michael would say, the secret sauce of takelean.com/Wendy. This is not for like 5 pounds. This is, you have some significant weight to lose. We can help you out. And right now, you're going to get 20% off when you enter Wendy at takelean.com. Takelean.com. That's the promo code, 20% off. And read about it. It's got a great webpage, tells you everything you need to know. Testimonials. I love those. Real people being like, I didn't think I could do it, but this helped me. TakeLean.com, promo code Wendy.
I'm tired of the left just putting out their bogus. There's no evidence. How do you know?
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about
Brennan
stuff.
said that. I'm like,
really?
You don't know.
Because if you listen to Brian Dean Wright, who worked for Brennan, he's like, this guy's dirty. Something needs to be done with him. He's failed his way up the system because he's licked the boots of everyone ahead of him. They know he'll lick their boots and do whatever he wants. There's so many things about
Excuse me.
all of this.
Yes.
You know, Letitia James. Hey, listen, I don't like her, but she broke the law. You're not allowed to commit mortgage fraud.
I'm not
You would
interested
be
in
thrown in
litigating
jail.
her on a personal level
Yeah.
because that's just not. But if, you know, if we've got evidence and it sounds like there's quite a bit,
Adam Schiff.
you know, you're not above the law. And then you see the
Remember, you guys told us that.
then you see the video that Adam Schiff put out last night into today.
He's just a straight.
It's
up
all about
dirtbag.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump is this, Donald Trump is that. I'm like, don't tell us what Donald Trump is. Defend yourself. What do you say? Did you have multiple homes and you claimed them all to be your primary residence? Is that what you did? Because that's gross. Because if you're going to do that, what else are you going to do?
Yep. And hey, by the way, if you hate the left, make sure you rumble.
I haven't seen if we're doing any good here.
We haven't hit 2K yet.
Oh, come on, people.
Oh, you people.
What is Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, I think the left is kind of relying on a nice dose of magic. They want to memory hole us all into forgetting the last several years. You know, and it's not just the last several, it's the last 9. I mean, seriously, can you imagine waking up and every day you're consumed with one overarching thought? Destroy Donald Trump. Whatever it takes. We'll make up crap. We'll listen in on his conversations. We'll wiretap his computers. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, wait a minute, we didn't get anything. Well, let's just make a bunch of crap up. Well, it's so ridiculous, nobody's going to believe it. Oh, yeah, they will. They'll believe it. And remember, all of the Russia crap was to cover for Hillary freaking Clinton and her private email server and 30,000 emails that she sent that, I'm sorry, who exonerated her again? Does anybody remember who was that?
Well, I have a question
That
about
was James Comey.
I have a question about that.
Yes.
If she didn't break any laws and didn't do anything wrong,
Mhm.
why was she fined $100K?
Because they wiretapped the president, right? Because you're not allowed to do that. $100,000. Wow, that's a kick in the teeth. Well, I want you to hear Jake Tapper. See, the left is now on this damage control. They need to desperately make it sound like Donald Trump is crazy. He's going after his political enemies. He wants revenge. No, he wants people who've broken the law, who've put their hand on a Bible and made an oath to you and to this country, and who then crapped all over it to be exposed, to be tried by a jury of their peers. And then ultimately, the asterisk in the World Book Encyclopedia is what I'm after. Is jail time great? Well, that's fine and all. But that disgraced moniker after your name as being one of this century's biggest dirtbags, I think that's delicious. And I believe that we're marching our way towards that end. The left wants you to believe it's Trump being crazy. He's obsessed. He wakes up and he thinks about his enemies every single day. Well, if he was doing that, he wouldn't be making money, being a wonderful, businessman who's made uber bucks in the last year. Just listen to Adam Schiff coming up later in the program. Here's Jake Tapper speaking to the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Tapper never discusses the charges against Comey here. He can only focus on Trump and overreach. It's not that Comey is accused of things, credibly accused of lying under oath, right? It's not that. It's Trump is the fault. But I think Mike Johnson does a really nice job neutralizing this. Listen.
Let's turn to the other big subject in the news here, having to do with the indictment of former FBI Director James Comey. Just looking at the principle at stake here, if you can remove Comey and Trump out of the equation, as a constitutional attorney and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, do you believe it's acceptable for any president to publicly or privately instruct their attorney general to prosecute a political opponent and go as far as firing a U.S. attorney if they don't bring charges because they don't think the case is strong enough?
I'm glad you brought up the principle. That is exactly what's at issue here. James Comey lied to Congress. Okay, he took an oath. He said things to Congress that were simply not true. It's called perjury. A grand jury that is not, a nonpartisan, non-biased grand jury that was assembled looked at the charges and they agreed, they voted to bring an indictment of James Comey. Not President Trump, not the DOJ, but a grand jury. That's how our system works. It's a very important principle for us to apply that everybody has to subscribe to the law, even a former FBI director. And he has lots to answer for. There are many things that he could have been indicted for, but the statute of limitations ran out on so many of those matters. Not here. Perjury is important. You can't, especially if you're a high official, appointed or elected official, you cannot raise your hand, take an oath, and lie to Congress. And that's an important principle, Jake, for us to advance.
And this is an important principle, Jake, for us to advance because there are so many others waiting in the wings for their own indictments. I can just say off the top of my head a few. Chris Wray, former FBI director. What is it about the FBI? Dirty as stones. I can think about Merrick Garland, right? I can think about Tony Fauci. How many times do people need to lie under oath and get away with it before somebody says enough is enough? It's called perjury, Jake. I think Mike Johnson did as well a job as Scott Jennings did on that CNN panel, telling everybody out in the weeds, don't worry about weaponizing the federal government. Don't talk about what Donald Trump is doing. Talk about the crime that this guy is credibly accused of committing. And by the way, Jake, if you don't think Donald Trump has every single detail, every email, every piece of paper, every lousy terabyte that they tried to erase, you're fooling yourselves. We could have gotten him on a lot more, but this is a pretty big precedent to set. And if he's found guilty, oh my, do we have a snowball rolling downhill. Here's Margaret Brennan. She's talking with CBS reporter Robert Costa, who tells Margaret Brennan, who's very concerned, this seems like weaponizing. And he's like, look, this is just the beginning, pal, because Schiff, Letitia James, Mark Milley, all of these people now who thought they could get away with this or that, and all of the details will come out in legal mumbo jumbo. They thought they could get away with it. And yeah, I don't think so. Go.
We also know that the president took some extraordinary public statements in the past few days. He publicly said he wants to see Adam Schiff, now a senator, Letitia James prosecuted, along with James Comey, the former FBI director, who is now indicted. Yesterday, he twice posted on social media about former FBI director Chris Wray. Did the president tell you, is he planning prosecutions?
I did not speak directly to the president about that today, but fishing around all weekend in his inner circle, it's clear this is just the beginning in terms of possible prosecutions of those who have scrutinized the president or criticized him over the years. You mentioned the mortgage policy potentially of Senator Adam Schiff of California. He's being discussed inside of the Trump administration. So is Letitia James, the New York Attorney General who sued the president over how he valued his real estate holdings. And there are others not even on our radar at this moment, like retired Joint Chiefs Chairman Mark Milley, who are being discussed as people who may have taken action against the administration or president in some way, allegedly, in the views of those inside, and they want to see the Justice Department hold them to account.
See, that's so interesting because their chief Washington correspondent there, this Costas guy, totally misses the point. He makes it sound as though Trump is seeking revenge against those who went after him over the last 9 years. But if you pay close attention to what's going on, the charges that seem to be coming out against these people, they're about their own alleged malfeasance, their own criminality. Mortgage fraud is not something that has anything to do with Donald Trump, any kind of revenge or retribution. If you committed a crime, you have to do the time, period. Right? If you've lied on your applications and you get found guilty of that, that has nothing to do with Donald Trump. That's not weaponizing. That's the system working. That's the way it's supposed to go. This is not complicated. right? And by the way, James Comey freaking lied under oath about authorizing Andrew McCabe to leak classified intel about Trump and Russia to Nicole Wallace's husband at the New York Times, the guy who went on to win a Pulitzer. Okay, so let's talk about what we're really dealing with. Here's Jesse Waters. He's like, you know what? Democrats don't seem to mind being lied to. Adam Kinzinger said something over the weekend about, hey, everybody lies to Congress. It's just what happens. And it's like, what? Are you out of your mind? Listen.
Democrats don't mind being lied to, and they don't care if it's the FBI director or anyone.
If you want to start prosecuting anybody that's ever lied to Congress, I mean, you would have literally almost nothing else that you could go after, because people lied in front of us all the time, even people under oath.
A former member of Congress just said everyone lies to Congress under oath, and he says it's no big deal, and he doesn't want anything done about it. It's like one of the most rotten things you'll ever hear in Washington, and you hear a lot of rotten stuff. A congressman saying, yep, we're all lying to each other. We all know it's a crime, and who cares? He's saying, you're going to have to lock up everyone. Okay, let's start with James Comey then. Might as well start somewhere.
Might as well start somewhere. Stephen Miller, national treasure that he is, says, you know what? Comey's just the beginning. There's a lot of people here who should be pretty worried right about now because we've got the goods.
Comey, Clapper, Brennan, Obama, Monaco, all conspired together, all worked together to try to sabotage, undermine, unravel the democratic institutions and structures of this country. The Russiagate hoax, the Russiagate conspiracy, and all of the assaults against our liberties that went with it, the pre-dawn raids, the handcuffing of innocent Americans, the espionage against President Trump's campaign and staff, the removal of his national security advisor, one fake indictment, one fake charge after another, the special counsel, all of it was a unrelenting attempt to overthrow the government the American people voted for. I cannot find words harsh enough to condemn the conduct of these conspirators, these insurrectionists.
These are the people who actually tried to overthrow the government, not a bunch of people on January 6th. And before we hit this commercial break, I want you to hear Jesse Waters in this one. To anybody out there saying Comey's indictment is somehow weaponization about revenge, revenge for what? Listen.
Asking like, oh, well, this is like the revenge tour. Well, what would the revenge be for, Jessica? What would the revenge be for? No one really answers that question. All right? It's because they arrested him. They arrested his campaign manager, his campaign advisor, his lawyers, his national security advisor. They arrested his trade advisor and put him in shackles. They arrested his CFO. They arrested his valet. And not only that, they spied on him, staged a coup, impeached him twice, tried to bankrupt his company, leaked his tax returns, and then couldn't protect him from a sniper. So what are you supposed to do? They didn't think this was going to happen? They're stupid.
They did, which is why Biden gave preemptive pardons, because he knew that you were a vengeful bunch of babies.
But who didn't get it?
Babies.
But who didn't get the pardon?
Comey missed out on the
Comey didn't get the pardon.
Did you hear that? That's why he had to pardon everybody, because y'all are just a bunch of babies. Oh, Jessica. Jessica Tarlov. Wow. She almost makes Fox News not worth watching. When we come back on the Wendy Bell Radio program, Martha McCallum and J.D. Vance. Are more criminal indictments coming? Oh, yes. And one of them could be exposed by Thomas Massey. You'll remember this exchange. It's a doozy. Don't miss it next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. She is such a twit. It's so disappointing in many ways, but whatever. I want to tell you guys about Texas Bullion Exchange, WendyLovesGold.com. It was interesting. I was out we were out at dinner with my mother and father-in-law, my son Jack and Joe and I were on Saturday. We're talking about investments and various things, gold and silver. And my father-in-law, he watches all this stuff like a hawk. I love it. And he teaches me some stuff along the way, which I so appreciate. But we were talking about gold and silver. And I was like, yeah, we got some precious metals in our portfolio. And he's like, that's interesting. I'm like, wendylovesgold.com. It's hard not to. I'm like, oh, I love these people. Dad, if you need anybody, go to wendylovesgold.com. You're going to talk to these advisors. Or if you call 855-927-5557, you're going to get directly in touch with one of the people I deal with routinely, and they love you. They love the audience of this program because you're not calling to spin anybody's wheels. If you're calling, you're ready to do something. You're ready to invest. You're ready to buy. You just need help. And that's why they love you. I think Texas Bullion Exchange is a wonderful company. WendyLovesGold.com. Put your family back on the gold standard. Why not? The value since we left it in 1971 of gold alone has skyrocketed 7,000%. And these valuations keep going up. It's great. Great, 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 great. WendyLovesGold.com. I do have something weird going on over here. Very poofy. Brock's not very good at telling me about these things.
Brock doesn't care.
Wow. Well, you know what? I do, so therefore you should.
Oh, is that how that works?
Yes, it's how that works. All right, let's see. Streaming now, we've got 7,700 people. That's great. Are we being boosted? Or is this?
We are on the editor's page.
Hey. Well, you should totally come and stay for a while. We are a radio show that happens to simulcast live on Newsmax's N2 channel and here on Rumble. Isn't that great? So you get to see all the commercial breaks, all the fun stuff.
And if you're here for the first time, make sure you follow.
So there's a follow button, in fact, right underneath the video box. And if you click the follow button, you will be notified when we go live. We go live 5 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. Brock has the pet show on Saturday with our world-renowned veterinarian, Dr. Mike Hutchinson, who is a gem of a human being and an even better vet. Now he's a better human being. And he's fantastic. You get to get free medical advice, 10 o'clock Eastern time, Saturdays. And then Sundays, like last weekend, sometimes we'll do this kind of hour-long 7 a.m. Eastern time, Weekends with Wendy. And it's just kind of us shooting the breeze, going into some conspiracy theories, things that we wouldn't normally do on broadcast, and a chance for you guys to chitter chatter and share with us what you see, what you think. It's fun, and it's family, and you're always invited. There always is room for you. So I know you get sucked into my fabulosity, but
not on Sunday.
What? I'm so attractive on the weekends. So with my tiara. I love it. I love my tiara. Anyway, welcome. We're delighted you guys are here. And obviously, I'm joking around about the majority of what I say. I have a floater in my coffee.
Ew.
I'm going to drink it real
Everybody knows what a floater means.
A bug or a hair or something like that. What do you think a floater means?
No.
What?
Nothing.
What? What's a floater?
I'll let them answer it.
What? Yeah, what does it mean? Really?
Floater.
We might be only able to get Pam Bondi might be on the cutting room floor. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. All right, I got two important sound bites before we wrap up this first hour. My goodness, has it gone by? I want you to hear Martha McCallum over at Fox interviewing Vice President J.D. Vance, and she's asking him, Mr. Vice President, you know, Jim Comey, the former FBI director, that's one thing, but do you think more indictments are coming? Guys, if you don't think President Trump has all of the goods, hook, line, and sinker, you don't think he has everything and that he had everything the day he left office and was trying to give it to everybody in those binders? Please, please, please wake up. Here we go.
The others, and in the past he has listed Adam Schiff and Letitia James. Do you think there are more indictments coming, and do you think that's justified?
Well, there's certainly going to be more indictments coming over the next 3.5 years of the Trump administration, but we're always going to let the law drive this stuff and the facts of the case and not political motivations, which frankly makes us so much different from the Biden administration, where they indicted not just the President of the United States, but so many people who were just engaged in the basic job of politics, who were engaged in policymaking, who disagreed with the Biden administration, and because that they faced prosecution from that same administration. If you look at the Comey indictment, Martha, this was a grand jury indictment delivered in Alexandria, Virginia, not exactly a hotbed of Donald Trump's political support. There were three requested indictments. The grand jury returned 2 of those 3 indictments. So I think they showed they were judicious. I think that it showed clearly that there were a couple of things that James Comey did wrong. And to the people who are saying that this is all political, I mean, look, if you look at our track record in the Trump administration, there have been people who have been prosecuted, who have been political allies, who agree with our politics. There have been people who disagree with our politics. We're not letting politics drive this. We're letting the requirements of the justice system and the law drive this. And unfortunately for James Comey, when I look at this indictment, I see a guy who lied under oath, and he'll have his day in court. He'll have his opportunity to prove the other case in front of the jury. But the idea that this is driven by politics, I think is preposterous when you actually read the details of the indictment and the obvious fact that James Comey did lie under oath to Congress multiple times.
All right, we'll see where it goes.
We'll see where it goes. To quote Mike Johnson, it's called perjury, Jake, right? I mean, face value, that's where we are, which is why I say don't get lost in the weeds of this weaponization mumbo jumbo. I want to go back in time. Congressional hearing. On the hot seat is Merrick Garland, Attorney General under Joe Biden. Asking the questions is Congressman Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie asks Merrick Garland, how many undercover agents were at the Capitol on January 6th? This, to me, means Merrick Garland is very much in the indictment crosshairs. Listen.
It's our constitutional duty to do oversight. Now, in that video, that was your answer to a question to me 2 years ago, when I said how many agents or assets of the government were present on January 5th and January 6th and agitating in the crowd to go into the Capitol, and how many went into the Capitol. Can you answer that now?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Oh, last time, you don't know how many there were, or there were none?
I don't know the answer to either of those questions. If there were any, I don't know how many. I don't know whether there are any.
I think you may have just perjured yourself that you don't know that there were any. You want to say that again, that you don't know that there were any?
I have no personal knowledge of this matter. I think what I said the last time.
You've had 2 years to find out. And the day, by the way, that was in reference to Ray Epps, and yesterday you indicted him. Isn't that a wonderful coincidence? On a misdemeanor. Meanwhile, you're sending grandmas to prison. You're putting people away for 20 years for merely filming. Some people weren't even there yet. You got the guy on video who's saying go into the Capitol. He's directing people to the Capitol before the speech ends. He's at the site of the first breach. You've got all the goods on him, 10 videos, and it's an indictment for a misdemeanor? The American public isn't buying it. I yield the balance of my time to Chairman Jordan.
May I answer the question?
I'm going to ask you one now. We'll let the gentleman.
Yeah.
Go ahead, but
in discovery, in the cases that were filed with respect to January 6, the Justice Department prosecutors provided whatever information they had about the question that you're asking. With respect to Mr. Epps, the FBI has said that he was not an employee or informant of the FBI. Mr. Epps has been charged, and there's a proceeding, I believe, going on today on that subject.
The charge is a joke. I yield to the chairman.
The charge is a joke. I yield to the chairman. You guys remember when you weren't allowed to talk about Ray Epps? I do. I remember when people in media put the 86 on that conversation when they trotted out Ray Epps and his wife on 60 Minutes to portray this victim swan song. We're getting death threats. Oh, cry us a river, you twit. Cannot wait to know all about Ray Epps, because if there's one thing I know about President Trump, he knows all of it. He's just letting people juicy smolier themselves find the right news. When we come back, hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program. Did you guys pay attention to John Brennan's apology tour? Actually, it's his innocence tour. My man, former spook, must feel the walls closing in. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. And the excuses that the people now who feel the walls closing in on them make. See, they can't defend themselves. They can't say, no, I did not lie. No, I did not do that. And they're not asked, are you guilty? Are you guilty of anything? Did you conspire with the former president, Barack Obama, and Hillary Clinton, and Lisa Monaco, and all these other, Susan Rice, and all these other people? Did you conspire? See, that's never asked. The question is, why does Donald Trump hate you so much? You're like,
for the same reason everybody else does.
I'm like, seriously? That's your question? Yeah, that's your question when you have a complicit propaganda arm of the Democrat National, conference or committee, what have you. It's called the mainstream media. And newsflash, they can all suck it. How's that? Right? All right, I want to tell you guys about the healthy fat. Dr. Stephen Gundry's The Healthy Fat. I drink it every day. It goes by this name, MCT Wellness. MCT Wellness. This is a dietary supplement. I'm just going to say this. If you are you get a bottle of water and you drink a bottle of, my kids, we finally had to pull the plug on the bottles of water. Like if you can't get a glass of water in our house so we don't throw in 50 plastic water bottles every single week in the landfill, like we're done. We're done. Joe and I had gone on a fishing trip when we were in Costa Rica. And once you get out a certain way, cruise ships and other vessels, legit, they're allowed to dump all of their crap at sea. And if I were to tell you how disgusting and disappointing the plastic waste is, Joe and I looked at each other. I'm like, no mas, no more plastic bottles. If you, however, still do, or you take a shaker bottle or whatever, you put a scoop of this in your water. First of all, it's freaking delicious. That's really all I drink it for. I love it. It's so tasty. But this is Dr. Gundry's secret weapon against weight. He lost 70 pounds because of what is in this powder. And if you go to thehealthyfat.com/Wendy and you watch his video, he's going to explain to you all these things that you might be doing, thinking that you're really doing great stuff for your body to lose weight, when you're actually thwarting that. You're getting in the way of your own progress. This opens the door to, I'm not going to say rapid weight loss. I'm just going to say a very significant weight loss. 70 pounds is a lot of weight. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. You know how I feel about blueberry. I'm not a big blueberry girl. This blueberry, keep it coming. Keep it coming, baby. Let's see how you guys are doing. 2-6. We only have 400 to go to hit 3 at 10:05. Come on, you can do it. So this is that great thing if you're new and you're like, I really like this girl. She's fabulous. 1, yes. 2, you can register your view by just scrolling up a little bit underneath the video box and clicking the thumbs up button. And then when you're done, that's called rumbling. So you're like, I like you. Or you can hit the down one. That's cool. And then you can Scooby over to the follow button because we're in a race to the finish. Where are we now? 70.7. 70.7. Our goal is 75. That's by the end of the year.
Are we canning Pam?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say before, like we could possibly ditch her. I look like a vampire. And I went golfing with my father-in-law yesterday and I got some sun, but you wouldn't be able to tell.
Oh, you went golfing yesterday?
Hi, Jenny Webb. Hi, Lloyd. Hi, G.I. Jenny. Ooh, famous Jameson. Hi, baby. Hi, Lisa LL. Boston Dave. Boston Dave usually says about now something really flattering about me.
Oh, boy.
Oh, snap, lipstick. Oh, my man Darius likes lipstick. Okay. There you go. Hi, Heather. What's going on, Heather? Hi, occasional thug. Black Lab, what's going on, baby? Vet gal, I eat blueberries every day. So good for you. Well.
They have antioxidants in them.
Well. Hi, Elevator Jim. Greta Bomb, how Beebs and Sculp. Nice to see you guys. Hey, Tam. Hey, Nadine. Lisa, Renee. What's up, sweetheart? What's up, Big Red? Oh, Boston Dave, you always know what to say. You don't even know what he said.
I don't have to.
What? You don't
if
even
you
know what he
liked it, then
said.
it must be flattering.
He said, love you.
Oh,
I know. Plastic recycling is a scam. I know.
Oh, my
it's
gosh.
all a scam. Stop. What?
it all goes to the same
It
place.
does. It's so dumb. And Joe is super persnickety. Everything, like I made corned beef hash for breakfast yesterday. Love corned beef hash. It's super good for you.
Mhm.
Not. So I get it all into the pan and I'm starting to fry it up. And, you know, he wants the inside clean and all of the paper off of it. And I'm like, honey, nobody cares. And he's like, I care. And I'm like, that's your neurosis.
Yes, right. I don't know if you necessarily care.
I don't have your zeal in that regard, but okay. I appreciate that you're committed to it. What's up, Fat Jimmy?
Wait a second. They clean the
Did I say hour
cans for
number
the
3?
garbage dump
Did I
more
say-
than they clean the.
Yes. Did I
the
say hour
dishes.
number 3 is coming up?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Penelope, stop doing that.
I'd take it.
I'm not ready to be done. Hi, Joe Mari. Hi, Nick 186, MJ Tambo. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Rosie Riveter. Skizmo, Stormy Night. Bronk. She didn't invite you, Brock. I know.
I'm used to it. You guys know.
Hi, Glow.
I'm used to it.
Lloyd. Hey, Wenster.
Nice that she always tells me though.
I didn't.
You said I'm golfing today.
You know what? I secretly, not so secretly, hate you. So.
Wow. 5. It's a strong word.
Rumble.
3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
You know, the Washington game, we're losing sight of what happened here. People unelected simply because they don't like a guy's hairstyle or like where he came from decided the American people's decision was invalid and began a systematic process to get him thrown out of office. This is a silent coup. These guys, if you ask me, ought to be the ones in jail. They ought to be the ones under investigation. What they have done working with agents from the Obama intelligence agencies is simply unprecedented. This is one of the greatest political hoaxes that has ever been perpetrated on the people of this country, certainly in a couple of generations.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
All righty. Well, hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live and on the clock. Delighted to be with you. You know, it's interesting. I think about the role of this program in your life. If this is something that you do frequently, you're a frequent flyer of this program, I'm delighted. Look, I'm not in the business of breaking news. I don't have insiders in the DC Beltway. I don't have Congress people on speed dial. I'm not communicating with reporters in the know, but I have common sense. And I can smell BS a mile away. And I think being a mom helps with that, right? Because you can smell it so far away. And we've been calling the balls and the strikes. And I don't know the last time we were wrong, to be honest with you. Now, this is the interesting part of these indictments, Of course, James Comey being the first one, former FBI director. Well, you got your former CIA director, John Brennan, who apparently is feeling a little uncomfortable. He's feeling like, oh my gosh, I was in the Oval Office with these clowns when they made up this whole Russia thing. And, and Comey authorized the leak of information to the media so as to basically thwart the will of the American people and sully and muddy an incoming president before he even had a moment to unpack in the Oval Office. It was all obviously orchestrated. It was all based on garbage. They tried desperately to get him on anything, could get nothing, had to make up a bunch of crap. And again, overarching. This is all about covering for Hillary Clinton's private email debacle. And I think they're going to get to the bottom of all of that as well. Before we hear John Brennan sitting down with this ridiculous box-checking panel on MSNBC, I want you to pay attention to the questions because they're idiotic. These are all softball questions. See, if I were going to be interviewing the former CIA director, former director Brennan, were you part of this conspiracy, this grand criminal conspiracy, as they're alleging in the Trump administration, to basically destroy Donald Trump's presidency while simultaneously running cover for your own malfeasance, criminality, and corruption? Because that's kind of how it feels. Yes or no? That's not what you get in this MSNBC interview, okay? And just to get started, let's go with the first question because this is going to set the table for you. If you need any proof that these are not reasonable, actual, serious journalists, that these are a bunch of box-checking plants put in to talk about their feelings. Oh my gosh. Well, here you go. Question number one.
Why does President Trump hate you so much?
I don't know. I guess it's up to President Trump to say why. But clearly, my engagement with the CIA during the 2016 period, where we uncovered Russian attempts to interfere in the presidential election, where we determined that Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, was trying to interfere to hurt Hillary Clinton and to help Donald Trump, is something that Donald Trump still does not come to terms with and continues to believe that we tried to undermine his election and his presidency, which is so far from the truth. When I was director of CIA, we tried to do our best to stop the Russians, any country, from interfering in the foundation of our democracy, which is our presidential elections. And so Donald Trump has had this gripe against me for the past 8+ years. And again, what we're seeing right now in terms of the indictment of Jim Comey, clearly this was politically motivated. There has been, the career prosecutors that resigned rather than bring charges because there was a lack of evidence, I think strongly suggests that this is something that is part of Donald Trump's revenge tour. And unfortunately, he cannot get over the past. He is somebody who has retribution, I think, in his heart and wants to hurt people, whether it be hurt them reputationally, professionally, financially, or whatever, or legally. And unfortunately, tragically, the Department of Justice now has become putty in his hands. And I think all Americans should be outraged. And I'm waiting for the Republicans, especially Republicans in Congress, to be outraged over what has happened to the Department of Justice.
Outraged over what has happened to them. He says there's no evidence. All these career prosecutors resigned because they didn't think there was any evidence to go after Jim Comey. Well, how would you know? The grand jury indictment, all of that, all of the proceedings, the decisions, all of that. It's under seal. How would you know what they know, Mr. Brennan? How would you possibly know? You would not know. Now, if I was sitting there, if I was granted, I am a trained broadcast professional, right? I have 30-odd years in television news, anchor and reporter, okay? I get that I have a little bit more skill than these morons on MSNBC. But I would probably say, Mr. Brennan, you failed to discuss that Tulsi Gabbard unveiled a conspiracy by a sitting president, Barack Obama, and his intelligence agencies, of which, you were a part, to sabotage the president-elect, Donald Trump. She got her hands on a CIA report that had been locked away in a vault for almost a decade. But Mr. Brennan, you're still lying about it. The 17 intelligence agencies that agreed Russia meddled in the 2016 presidential election. Well, it turned out to be just 3 professional liars, ordered by chief liar Barack Obama. And they all lied under oath. right? Caught when Tulsi released the documents. Comey, Clapper, you, Mr. Brennan, treason? Maybe. Okay, so that's not what he gets on MSNBC. Let's get to host Eugene Daniels. This is the guy that looks like a little bit more well-fed Lionel Richie. And this is the guy that says, instead of asking, Mr. Brennan, are you guilty of trying to overthrow the will of the American people by undermining the president-elect Donald Trump and then lying about it just like Comey did? He asks this instead.
It feels to me that the conviction is not the point, that at the end of the day, whether or not Comey actually gets convicted by a judge at the end of this year is not the point, that it is the selling of their reputation. It is the making you guys get lawyers and deal with this, making your family concerned and scared, the chilling effect that it creates to all the people who have something to say about Donald Trump in this country, whether they have power and access to resources or not. Am I right?
Am I right? Did you not all just hear Jesse Waters in his 55-second monologue directed at Jessica Tarlov when he's like, why ever would President Trump want revenge? That's the big question. Revenge for what? Oh, you mean and like the laundry list of things that the left threw at him? You mean that? Yeah, that's not what Eugene Daniels is worried about. And this is John Brennan's response. John Brennan's response isn't, I did my job. I never broke the law. I never lied under oath. I never misled the American. See, an honest person would do that. You'd be upset. You'd be offended. I'd be pissed. I'd be like, don't you dare accuse me of doing anything below board. How dare you? I encourage anyone to check my record. Release the Kraken. Let's get to the bottom. Now, when you're guilty, you say, well, President Trump is mean. Literally, you cannot make this up. This guy is the former CIA director. Listen.
Yes, I do believe that what Trump is doing when he talks in such disparaging and profane terms about individuals, and even said at recent, Charlie Kirk memorial service that he hates his opponents.
Yeah.
For the President of the United States to say this.
How isn't that amazing? I mean, why would ever he say that? He hates us. We love Republicans. We do everything for Republicans. We trap them at the Capitol because we're worried that everybody's going to realize that we stole an election. And so we needed to gin stuff up, which is why we had 270 freaking 4 undercover FBI agents milling around the January 6th protesters. People to go, and push against them and cause chaos. Oh, like that? Oh, that's not what we get. We get Donald Trump is mean. You want to know any of the other questions that this Cracker Jack trio of boobs over on MSNBC? We wonder why the parent company is trying to give him the Heisman. Let's separate. We'll divorce. You continue your horrible news stuff, and you guys can all go down the tubes, and we'll try to claim ourselves and save ourselves, right? Let's listen to what they asked. Why does Donald Trump hate you so much? Question number 1. Question number 2 to John Brennan. Have you talked to Republicans in Congress? What are they saying to you? Really? Really? How about, are you guilty of treason? Now, that wasn't one of the questions. And number 3, is the point of James Comey's indictment to embarrass and bankrupt him and make his family feel scared? Really? I just want you guys all to pay attention to what's going on. Who's saying what? Who's rushing to the cameras to say nothing at all other than Donald Trump is so mean. He's mean and he's hurting my family. Dude, you guys tried to kill him. Okay? Not once. Probably not even twice. And you came really freaking close. Period. End of story. Mr. Brennan, who we know is already lawyered up. He's ready. Let's go. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, what does the former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Devin Nunes, who exposed the whole Russia thing with Kash Patel years ago, what does he think about this whole mess, about James Comey's indictment? He calls him lucky. What? Oh, yeah. next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Eugene Daniels.
Wasn't it Clapper who lawyered up like 2 years ago?
It was him, and then Brennan also said
he's
so.
lawyered up.
Right? It's preposterous. I want to tell you about the Simkovich Concussion Institute, SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. It might be one of the most important websites you go. If you're on your computer right now, it makes perfect sense. Open up a new tab, and at the very top, go Simkovich, just the way it sounds, SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. Enter, and then go up to your bookmarks and say, add a bookmark, and save it, and have it, because you might not need him now, but when the time comes, you're going to be like, who was that? 412-366-3700. 412-366-3700. Dr. Simkovich, this is what he does. Like there's not another job that he does. It is identifying, diagnosing traumatic brain injury down to the cellular level and then fixing it. I wonder what it's like to not have memories up to a certain point in your life and looking at old photos that happened before you got hit in the head or were in an accident, and looking at those photographs and being like, I have no earthly recollection of that. And then to have that door open. That's what Dr. Simkovich does. And he is a really lovely human being. Like, he legitimately cares about you. They're objective, diagnose you and fix you and do it as quickly as possible. No blood, no needles, no surgery, no bells and whistles, just knowledge, science, and Dr. Simkovich's hands. Gotta tell you, that's what it is. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com, 412-366-3700. I'm going to take my final two blood flow 7s here in a minute. My hands are going to shake. I'm like, no, because I was too stupid to get on the horn with my gal, my pimp, and push out some more of my pills.
I forgot to tell you who texted me yesterday.
Who texted you?
Mary.
Mary who?
Walter.
About?
Asking me to come on her podcast, The Dish.
About?
The Wendy Bell Show.
Really?
Mm.
And?
Tomorrow night.
Wow. What time?
7:15.
Oh.
That's a little past my bedtime, but.
Wow. Maybe you can put on your old man cardigan with the elbow patches, too, and smoke a pipe.
I don't have a pipe. I don't have a cardigan either, but.
Well, you've got all the other stuff. It's past my bedtime.
Yeah, well, you know what? Keep pushing me, lady.
Down the stairs.
I'll be unfiltered.
Is that seriously what y'all are doing? What you're talking about?
She's talked to other producers for shows just to know the backstory of like what we actually do and stuff like that. She says she finds what we do interesting.
Nah.
And you know, I'm an open book. If she asks a question, I'll answer it.
By the way, I'm taking Relief Factor right now. They want us to advertise. They want to advertise with us. And they're like, but you need to take it for a month. I'm like, I like you. Because if I don't take any relief out of it, then what's the factor? Why would I talk about them? Right? Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, I do wonder sometimes, Devin Nunes was beating this drum during President Trump's first term. And he was the one who was able to expose through his House Intelligence Committee chairmanship. And he and Kash Patel were able to unravel the whole Russia nonsense that led to so much madness, so much wasted time, so much wasted money, impeaching the president of the United States, whose number one greatest mistake was not being a member of the swamp. You're not allowed here. You're not welcome in our club. This is exclusive. And unless we've got some bribery and blackmail crap on you, you're not welcome. And they tried. By golly, did they try? Let's listen in. Let's wiretap. Let's check his keystrokes. Nothing. What? Are you for real? Well, hurry up. We got to make some stuff up. Call Christopher Steele. Right? Devin Nunes talking about what it's like to be back in the shadows, right? He's running Truth Social. He is a trusted advisor to the president. And this is what Devin Nunes has to say about James Comey's federal indictment. I wasn't expecting this answer. Listen.
I think Comey should consider himself lucky, Maria. Number one, that he wasn't treated like Roger Stone was treated, who had a very similar charge where they actually raided his home at 6 a.m., drug him out. And that was before they had actually called the CNN camera so that they could go and get it all on camera. So that didn't happen to him. Secondly, what also didn't happen to him is what happened to General Flynn, where Comey himself admitted that they ambushed Flynn in the White House, charged him on very similar charges, even though the FBI agents themselves said that they didn't believe that Flynn had lied. And oh, by the way, that information had leaked out on General Flynn, that they then misled the American public about what actually General Flynn said. So look, Comey has long been a liar, a leaker. He's dishonest. He ruined the FBI. And I would just lastly say this about this indictment is he's also going to be very lucky if there's not a superseding indictment. But I'd say most importantly, he will be lucky if there is not a grand conspiracy charge brought, which is really what should be brought against probably about 24 characters in the United States over the last 7-8 years.
And that grand conspiracy is so powerful because if the statute of limitations has expired on whatever your illegal activity was while you were in office, if that has expired, then you're kind of like, oh snap, we missed our window. But if you continue being a part of that conspiracy after you leave office, if you still are involved, well, that kind of erases that statute of limitations and puts everything on the table. You're part of a broader apparatus, a broader mechanism, and we're going to investigate that, and we're going to go after you. That and the superseding indictment. What could possibly Bigfoot a charge as serious as perjury? I don't know. Gotta be pretty juicy. We all know. Devin Nunes, number 2. Don't forget what this grand conspiracy was all about, because it has everything to do with Hillary.
When you go back and look at this at 50,000 feet, what are we really talking about here? What actually happened that they were all involved in? It all goes back to really one thing, and that was that there were 30,000 emails that Clinton had that Clinton was worried would come out before the 2016 election. And then if those came out, it would make her unelectable. That's what this is all about. Everything goes back to that. And then what happened is that Comey and company and all of them got involved in the so-called Clinton plan, which, if you remember, the Clinton plan was to do what? To say that the Trump campaign was colluding with the Russians, and that's how the emails got out. It's all true. That's all happened. That's like the quintessential definition of conspiracy.
So are they going to get Hillary Clinton on this? I don't think so. I think the way you get to Hillary is to go dig a little bit deeper into the Hillary and Bill, the whole Clinton Global Initiative, the Clinton Crime Family Initiative, right? Remember? The wheeling and dealing, the hundreds of millions of dollars of donations that came pouring into that organization. Oh, we so want to help people in Haiti, said the president of Morocco. Where do I write my check? Oh, that's right. Right here. Okay. You remember that, right? And then lo and behold, what ended up happening? What? 63 million Americans showed up to vote for Trump? Are you out of your mind? The people who are on the revenge tour, my friends, are not Republicans. They're Democrats who are super angry that you didn't fall for it. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Portland is a hot mess. President Trump says, let's send in the military. Portland's mayor's like, no, it's beautiful this time of year. Really? What do people on the street think? Houston, we've got a problem. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Right? You and that button. I've got some really big arse hair going on today. All right, how are you guys doing?
Not good.
Shut up. 3. Okay, well, so our next goal is 3,500 in 30 minutes.
I want to get a Bluetooth board.
Why?
Oh, I have to come up with a good reason. Headphones.
Wait, what?
For the headphones.
Why is Elliot sending me this picture?
What are you supposed to tweet out?
I don't know.
Is it a picture of you?
Is that what you're seeing? Have I been on Newsmax?
Yeah.
I have? So he sends out a picture. I'll show you. I don't know.
You were. I mean, they're in commercial break now. I try to click back and forth.
All right. Bloodflow7.com. 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 This is it. Look, I have completely changed since COVID. I've completely changed my idea of what I put into my body. And I woefully admit I have been woeful about doing this before. But you trust your doctor. You trust what science tells you until you couldn't. And now you're like, who do I trust? Well, I trust this. I trust this whole idea that it's a really good thing for your arteries and blood vessels to be wide open so that you've got lots of blood flow pumping to your heart, pumping to your fingertips, pumping up to your brain, down to your toes, and every nook and cranny in between. It also really helps when blood is flowing through your body. It carries oxygen. And so you have more energy, you have more focus, you have more stamina. It's 100% what I notice on this product. More stamina. Look, I'm 55. I don't stop. I work hard always. If I'm in the yard, I'm in the yard, not just for a little dabble-do-ya, but I'm there for hours. I want to get it done. I want to do it right no matter what the conditions and no matter how I feel. Bloodflow7.com is perhaps the most transformative thing, supplement-wise, for stamina that I've ever taken. You want to try it? It's not expensive. A month is like $30. It's like $1 a day. Try it. Try it. And you'll be like, Shazam. That's pretty special. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. It's all about nitric oxide. That nitric oxide is what makes things open up so you can, right? This is what my husband goes in and fixes. He and his father used to with stents and whatnot. When vessels would get clogged and shut down, they'd have to go in and send them and pop them open and push through the bad stuff, right? The plaque and other things. This bloodflow7.com open stuff up. Yeah.
You guys did not get the pictures because you did not reach the goal on Friday. We set a thing. I'd show you pictures of her getting ready for Newsmax. If we hit 4K, we did not hit 4K. I think that's fair. I don't know what Elliot sent you. That's all their side. Not us.
He said, I was just testing something in our new studio. So they pulled up the N2 feed.
Oh.
And there you were, big. And I was like, big and fabulous. I wonder what he thinks.
Wait, he's allowed to call you big?
I wonder what he thinks. I wonder if he's like, this chick is wacko. This is the main dude at Newsmax. The guy who reached out to me and asked me for a job. Like, told me, no, offered me. I'm like, I don't want to be on television. Like, I've done that. TV sucks. And he's like, you must be on television. I'm like, I mustn't. I really mustn't. Remember when I brought you that? When I was like, and you're like, well, does the check clear? And I was like, I think so. I will say they are very easy to work with. Newsmax is very, very.
I used to get frustrated. Anything I ever got frustrated with them for was
it's just bad communication.
Well, when they would introduce you, like how many times they introduce you
Wrong.
wrong. Like you have your own radio network,
right?
And they're like host at,
yeah,
and not even Wendy Bell Radio.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, what?
Okay, that's not even close.
They finally started just putting common sense host.
Not even close. We have a guy from California, Carl DeMaio. He's awesome. He's part of Reform California. He was a radio guy for a while, got out, and he's into politics now, but he'll come on the show, and he's great, gives us perspective from Southern California. And his title has changed like a year and a half ago, and they still haven't updated it in their system. And I finally wrote to my producer. I'm like, can we please once and for all, this is what it's supposed to say, right? He's not on the radio anymore. Let's just, come on, as Brock would say. Wow. Oh, look like I have a black eye. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. Okay, teaser for the third hour, guys. Do not go anywhere. This just in, some breaking news about the January 6th pipe bombs. Does anybody out there actually believe that there were pipe bombs? Do you guys actually believe that there were nefarious actors on January 6th who were like, let's go bomb the RNC and the DNC? Come on, man. Like everything that they've told you, if the left has said it in the last 10 years, please realize it's garbage. Okay. And we're going to demonstrably prove that coming up in hour number 3. I think it's delicious. All right. I want to give you this. JustTheNews.com. Have you guys been paying attention to what's going on in Oregon? No wonder there's parts of Oregon. They're like, you know what? We want to get the hell away from this state. Can we please secede? Can we please go on over to Idaho? I'd like to be a part of Idaho. I would too. All right. So Oregon is suing to stop President Trump from sending in the National Guard or the military to Portland. This is a really risky gamble on the part of the left. You know, and unfortunately, it takes years for the reality of public opinion to catch up with the reality of what people are seriously experiencing on the streets. But why do you think President Trump won in landslide fashion in November? Well, he ran on 2 major things, both of which affect us immeasurably. The first being inflation and the economy, right? And people will chirp and say, he's not done anything to bring down inflation. It's still really bad. Everything costs so much money. You don't fix what has been fudged up for 4 years overnight. But the trade stuff, the trillions of revenue, the paying down of our debt, the foresight into creating savings accounts, investment accounts for newborns. Do you know how huge that is? To give a baby, all babies born in America, $1,000. We're going to invest this $1,000 into your future is so forward thinking. You would never, ever, ever hear a Democrat saying it because they would want to steal the $1,000 and pretend that they didn't. The other thing Donald Trump ran on and smeared everybody on, obviously illegal immigration. I mean, even if you loosely paid attention to the news in the last several years, the video of people streaming across the border, the night video, the thermal images of just oceans of humanity coming across rivers, putting themselves in clear mortal danger on a journey that nobody should make ever, because inherently it is inhumane and insane, right? We all watched that. And then you hear the stories of people killed by illegals driving drunk. You hear stories of the young women kidnapped, gang raped, murdered, and left like refuse for someone to discover down the road. Ultimately, these things come full circle and they seep into our attention span. This is one of those things. No matter where you live, you should not be subjected to a hellscape of sleep deprivation, constant noise, garbage, graffiti, propaganda, Antifa garbage. There's a reason why Trump designated that a domestic terrorist organization. We're going to get these people. Portland is in the crosshairs today, and Oregon does not want President Trump or anybody coming in. The mayor of Portland is like, no, everything's great. What are you talking about? It's perfect. Really? Well, before we even get into this story, I want to play for you a news story, okay? So we can all be on the same page. As Portland residents are forced to face violent protesters themselves, night after night, week after week, month after month. You guys, there has been no arrest since June of this really obnoxious and dangerous chop zone, if you will, in Portland. Trump says, clean it up. This is un-American. Portland's mayor is like, it's just fine. You decide.
Night after night, this is the scene just outside the ICE facility in Portland. Hundreds of residents live in apartments just feet away. They routinely call police about the noise and crime.
I'm calling about the protesters. They cornered 2 women out here. They need help. Please send the cops.
But the cops did not come. Residents on their own.
Turn the down. It's midnight. We the people need sleep.
This week, protesters brought what looked like a guillotine. Some confrontations end with residents getting assaulted. First a bullhorn, then a fist. No arrest was made despite the injuries. On this night in late June, federal police used tear gas and flashbangs. Again, no Portland police in sight. It came out later in court that one officer told another, if it were not ICE, we could assist directly. Julie Parrish sued the city to force police to enforce local laws.
This is a full-on abdication of police duty in a 4-block radius that impacts some of the most vulnerable Oregonians that we have. Now they've said, meh, we're just going to let violent rioters do this for 80 straight nights, and we don't care.
Portland police responded, we take these concerns seriously. At the same time, we are committed to protecting individuals' rights to express themselves peacefully.
The Portland approach is pathetic. It's childish. And if you enable people to behave the way the protesters have and wreck the neighborhood for everyone else, they will come back and wreck it the next night.
The protest chaos, which began with riots aimed at social justice in 2020, has severely damaged Portland's reputation. It's now ranked by the nonpartisan Urban Land Institute as the second worst place in America to invest. With 6.5 million square feet of commercial vacancy, the top 20 office towers have lost 57% of their combined value in 5 years. Portland's elected leaders ignored our request for comment about what some are calling the city's death spiral. As for those nightly protests, police admitted to us that they have not made a single arrest out there since June 18th.
Wow. And there you go. That is what it's like to live in a Democrat hellscape. Think Baltimore, think Philadelphia, think San Francisco. I mean, how many places do you want to fill in the dots? Oregon sued the Trump administration late Sunday, seeking to block President Donald Trump's order to deploy 200 National Guard troops to the city of Portland to protect federal buildings. Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield joined the city of Portland in filing a preliminary injunction in U.S. District Court. Look, Trump is really good at forcing the Democrats to show their cards. We don't care about you residents. We don't care about your safety. Don't you understand? We need these illegals in this ICE facility right across the street from you. We need them to get out and to vote. Do you know how much we stole from you people over the last 4 years? Do you know how hard it was to get that many people to fly across our border, stream across our border, so that we could instill a next generation of Democrat voters? I mean, the black people, we've given up on them. They're too smart. This is the new breed of Democrat voter. Really fascinating. Oregon communities are stable. And our local officials have been clear. We have the capacity to manage public safety without public interference or without federal interference. Do you guys really believe that? Do you believe that's going on in Portland after what you just heard? Well, let's go back to that facility, shall we? Because there is this apartment complex right across from the ICE facility. I'm going to go with this is a lower rent area. I'm going to go with people who have various forms of disabilities, people who have various backgrounds, probably aren't swimming in money because they wouldn't be living across the street from absolute madness 24 hours a day. What do they say? Here's a Portland man right across the street. He's like, look, please, Mr. President, send in the troops.
I am so happy that Trump is sending the National Guard in here. I live in this building. We both live in this building. We've been asking for help for months, and we're finally going to get it.
When do you think they're coming?
When? Not soon enough, man. Not soon enough.
What do you want to see happen?
I want him to come in and mess them up and just annihilate these people. Whatever force they need. Whatever force they need.
They're forcing people in traditionally blue cities to look at law and order and President Trump in a different way. You don't think those people who've been terrorized every night with these ridiculous crowds on demand and Antifa terrorists across the street, you don't think that they appreciate someone, even if it's the boogeyman, Donald Trump himself, saying, you know what? You deserve better. This is the United States, and that's not how we behave. You don't think they're paying attention? Oh, my. Here's a woman who's in a wheelchair who is scared to death of the Antifa goons terrorizing her street every day.
Are you afraid of the protesters?
Very. It's an extreme mob mentality to me, which means nothing is as it should be.
So are you excited that Trump's deploying the troops here?
Very excited. I cannot wait.
I can't wait for them to leave.
Then the woman says, forever and ever, amen. Bring them in. No, not, says the mayor of Portland. We're good. In fact, we're going to go to court against you. If this is honestly your option as an American living in one of these cities, how fast are you going to hightail it out of there? These people can't. Where are they going to go? Why is it always the people who the left says they champion, who they really screw the most? And why is it that the people the left tells us Donald Trump doesn't care about? He doesn't care about you. You're not a fat, rich, white billionaire. He doesn't care. Why is it always that President Trump flies into the rescue just to make life safe in these communities? Come on now. You don't think this is going to matter in the midterms? These Democrats are slitting their own throats. Keep it up. Keep it up. Let Portland go. Is that the answer? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, as President Trump hints that more criminal indictments are on the way, you have to love what the president truthed out over the weekend. And it had a little something to do with Adam Schiff. Oh my. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
It's such a shame because
those poor people.
Portland is
it's a beautiful
area.
Beautiful area.
I lived and worked there. You drive down the highway, you see green, you see waterfalls and hiking trails and biking trails. I mean, it's a beautiful. It's been a long time, but it was a beautiful city when I was there.
It's now a shit show.
Yeah. Essentially.
Right? healthycell.com/Wendy. So I got this sponsor through John Fredericks. John Fredericks has a radio network. He's also a correspondent. He's also a journalist, and he has his own radio show out of the Beltway. And he reached out to me one day, and he's like, look, I don't normally do this, but I so want your show. And while I can't take you live at 9, I'd like to time shift you later in the afternoon. Is that okay with you? I'd put you on 22 of my stations. And I was like, well, okay.
I guess.
All right. And so I enjoy working with him. He's like, look, I don't time shift anybody. That's what they call that. We normally take people live. But he's got a friend that has worked with him for a long time who has his own show, and he's not going to Bigfoot him out of that 9 o'clock position for us. And I was like, whatever, you do you. And he's like, but I want you to know this is a big deal for me, he said, because I don't do this. I don't time shift people, but you're worth time shifting. And I was like, well, I appreciate that. And then he's like, and I really want you to consider one of my sponsors. And I was like, okay. That was Healthy Cell. And one Friday, Brock and I were going out to lunch, and we're grabbing a beer and a burger, and I had a call with them. And I was sitting there on my AirPods. It was rude with Brock sitting right there, but it was the only time I could really get it in. And I listened to them for about 20 minutes, talk about what they do. And I was like, so wait a minute, you're an alternative to like pills and capsules and tablets and things like that. A lot of people have a hard time swallowing pills. And this is way more absorbable in this microgel form. And they're like, yeah, that's what we do. And we get into your body faster. It's so much more absorbable. All of these wonderful formulations of supplements that are great for you. And she's like, well, the gal was like, so what, tell me something that you'd like to work on. I'm like, I wish I had a better memory. Like, I wish I could remember things. So she's like, focus and recall. I'm like, okay. And then the next day I get focus and recall, and Brock gets REM sleep, and the rest is history. I mean, it's been a while now, and I would not go. Whether or not they were a paid sponsor of mine, I would continue buying these products, and I would continue taking them. healthycell.com/Wendy changes your way. It just does. It just does. The focus and recall is freaking off the grid. And Brock can tell you every day between 8 and 8:15, I take it. Because I think it's like 45 minutes before it's like, and I'm like, boo, 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 focusing in on you. I love it. healthycell.com/Wendy. So that's the backstory of Healthy Cell. John Fredericks. You guys can't even tell I'm wearing my cute little dress today. But, you know, Newsmax doesn't like all the skin. So, I know I'm weird. Brock didn't even have to say it.
I wasn't going to say anything. Monday's the days I usually say stuff.
This has been, yes, because it's more and more dangerous as the week progresses. Ben Berquam from Real America's Voice is so fantastic.
Flying by.
So fantastic in this audio exchange with freaking Adam Schiff as he gets in his face. Fantastic. Take this is the perfect song leading into what I think is perhaps the video of the day. Welcome back, everybody, to the Wendy Bell radio program. The audio of the day, I should say, for you is Real America's Voice, Ben Bergquam. Now, I do love this guy. He works with our friend Oscar Blue, did a lot of great stuff going through the Darien Gap, did wonderful work on the border. And he's just, I think he's great. And he follows Adam Schiff all across the Capitol. And he gets in his face. He's like, excuse me, Senator, what about this? What about that? It is fantastic. And I play this for you because President Trump truthed out something over the weekend. Basically, he wrote this: who's ready to see Adam Schiff in prison? Somebody had written that. And I think Trump kind of put his name on top of it. I don't know if he retruthed or what have you, but that is, he connected it to this very audio soundbite. Listen.
You lied about Russia. You lied about Ukraine. Excuse me. Sorry about that. What are you going to do when the deep state can't protect you anymore?
Have a nice day.
When you're brought up for treason, what is your response going to be then? You're going to hear these words later, but you might as well hear them now. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, you will be provided with one. Do you understand these rights as I've cited them to you? Adam Schiff, everybody. Guys, the Democrats are committing treason. This is the shame. He doesn't have time for my questions. But right now, what we have going on in our country is an attack on our sovereignty. And it's time that all Americans stand up against it. I pray that you wake up and the Democrats wake up to the lie that's going on. But I think that's what's happening. I think the American people are seeing through it, and that's the beauty of this. You can't hide from it anymore.
Have a nice day.
Scumbag.
It's so great. Have a nice day. Adam is feeling a little nervous. Before we get to his audio, I want you to remember what Kash Patel said about him before Kash became FBI director.
Adam Schiff is the worst criminal in Congress in the last 250 years. Adam Schiff went to the podium day after day after day saying, I know nothing about this. We're not going to discuss it. We're going to protect it. And then Adam Schiff, led the prosecution of the impeachment trial in the Senate of President Donald Trump. Talk about someone who was conflicted out of the game because he was part of the hoax that brought Charmella in, manufactured that false accusation, and then peddled it out to the world. And he continued, not surprising. He's lied about almost everything in his life. But now he lied just to set up a presidential impeachment. And that's what I was talking about, these disinformation campaigns. He should be investigated because he lied to the world about his interactions with Charmella, who is a whistleblower, and I can't stress it enough, that started a presidential impeachment.
Yes. And by the way, things are getting gnarly and heated for the senator from California, who, like Letitia James, seems to be ensconced in a bit of a mortgage fraud saga. Because the rest of us are not allowed to claim that we have more than one primary residence. However, both Letitia James and Adam Schiff are demonstrably accused of doing exactly that. And so why Kash Patel would love to take Adam Schiff down for a million things, sometimes mortgage fraud really does the trick. Let's listen to how Adam is responding and what he wants you to know today.
Just the other day, Forbes came out with their, 1,000 richest people, and Trump had moved up by, over 100 spaces. He's already made billions of dollars in the first 8 months of this administration.
Oh, no.
He's made more money in 8 months than he made in his entire life before that. And it's just graft. Oh. It's just using the instruments of his office to grab money. He's getting $16 million from CBS over a bogus lawsuit.
That's not graft.
He's getting $12 million from ABC over another bogus lawsuit.
That's not graft.
He's getting a third Air Force One from the Gutteries. So while people on the ground are still trying to pay their rent and figure out how they're going to pay for those
because of
ever more expensive groceries, I guess the president would say they should take solace in the fact that he now has a third Air Force One. He has a palace in the sky. courtesy of gutter. That's not helping anyone. People's personal economies are really suffering right now. Donald Trump's personal economy is the only one that is doing well.
Yeah, but I just want to know one thing, Senator. Did you or did you not claim 2 properties as your primary residence and therefore commit mortgage fraud? Because the more you squawk about Donald Trump being rich, he's rich, guiltier you sound, because we already know Donald Trump is rich. We don't care. We don't care. We want justice. And that's where you come into play, sir. He sounds a little nervous, doesn't he? When we come back, hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends. You know what? Where is Scooby and Shaggy when you need them? I need them stat. We got to figure out this whole pipe bomb thing and the DNC and the RNC. We got our hands on the report. I think we'll be able to work it out with you guys. You ready? Let's do it next. Donald Trump, he just made all this money. He's the richest man ever. Okay. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about Donald Trump. We're talking about you. Because see, Donald Trump didn't do it illegally. Okay? Because if he did, everybody and his brother would be on it like white on rice.
Well, let's go back to what you said, that you're a mom.
Yes.
When you yell at one boy for doing something wrong, what's he do? Immediately tells you about the other kid. Well, did you see what he did?
He was right there with me.
You're right.
He's the one who threw up. And I'm like, what? Yeah, he was drinking. I know. What? I'll never forget when Michael did that to me. Michael was like, Mom, yeah. My friend threw up in the basement. Had too much to drink. I'm like, really? Yeah, I just right there off the side of the bed. Oh, wow, that's terrible. Come on, man.
Right, yeah. Was the friend there to defend themselves? Oh, no, Michael.
He had long left, and by the way, did not look any worse for wear. So I was like, well, if he barfed everywhere. I know. Michael.
Oh.
Marsha. Russia. Oh, my goodness.
Michael, get better.
I know. Do better.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to have this much fun. The Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. 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 412-906-9600. Yeah, there's a staggering number of us are going to have some problem with our back, our spine. And if that back problem or your spinal issue has to do with the discs, either falling apart, slipping out of place, getting out of whack, causing you pain, there's big business in surgically fixing them. And that helps. And you can do that. And that's swell if it works. But wouldn't you love to try not having surgery? Maybe regrowing the discs instead, like I would, and be like, I'll sign up for 2 of those. That is what Dr. Rafferty does at the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. He helps your discs grow back naturally. It's not magic, it's science. It works. He's been doing this for a long time. Thousands upon thousands of reviews. It's called intradisc neutrosis, and it is 98% successful, which is like, what? Pretty daggone good. 412-906-9600. 412-906-9600. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. Oh, I have something new I'm supposed to tell you guys about too. Let's see if I can stick the landing on this one. Super money. We're going to do super money. All right. I'm going to read this to you. This is very interesting. Let's see. So, super money is a free online tool that helps you compare your options in one spot. No payments, no pressure, just a bunch of information at your fingertips. So you get to make the best decisions when you can compare everybody and see what they're offering, right? It's like TripAdvisor. So you're going to go on and you're like, well, United, it's such and such. On such and such airlines, it's blah, blah, blah. That's what super money is all about. You worked hard for your home, for your income, and for your future. Don't let banks or government overreach take that from you. Super Money puts you back in the driver's seat, gives you easy to understand side-by-side comparisons of certified tax professionals. This is about taxes, completely free to use. There's no sign-up gimmicks. There are no fees. There's no fine print. It's not a bank. It's not a lender. It's not a government-backed program. It's just honest, transparent information so that you can make the best choice for your situation. You get to see real options from reliable, vetted companies, not shady subprime outfits or bloated corporate giants. Get tax relief that respects your rights. If the IRS is breathing down your neck, you're not alone, but you do have rights. Super Money connects you with licensed professionals who are going to go to bat for you, not IRS sympathizers. And it's anti-establishment. Don't trust the system that profits off of your struggle. Super Money is about transparency, not about control. You don't need another bank. You don't need another bailout or another bureaucrat. You need straight answers from people who don't work for the deep state or the debt machine. If you owe a lot of money in taxes, there's a way to dig out. Supermoney.com is a really great online tool. Very great. And I hope you check it out. Supermoney.com. Supermoney.com /Wendy tax. Supermoney.com /Wendy tax. That's how you're going to get to the right landing zone. What?
Sorry.
Are you making fun of me?
No, I just got a thing about from the Department of Transportation.
Oh.
From a
Some
number.
turnpike toll that you didn't make?
No, I've been reported DMV violation. My registration is up. I got the registration card in the mail literally 4 days ago.
Well, what's taking you so long?
They're going to suspend my stuff. But the number it came from 63970-752-2083. Right. That seems totally legit.
What's the first three digits?
It has a country code, 63.
Yes. Which country is 63?
Who
Let's find out.
knows?
I'm going to find out. What country has code 63 in phone number? Scam alert, fake toll road debt collection texts. 63 is the country code for
Uganda.
the Philippines.
Oh. And here I was going to pay it.
You know what? You should have given him direct access to your bank account.
Yeah.
That's usually helpful.
That would have probably been helpful. I wasn't thinking.
I know. Next
Everybody
time,
makes
do
mistakes.
better.
Now I know.
All right, we have 600 people we need to get to 4K. Pie in the sky.
4K.
Totally
pictures.
nutty. Totally nutty. I know you guys are used to my fabulous hair right now, but boy, is it a process.
Yeah.
He's got some pics, 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
One, I'm giving you the bird, but we won't share that one with you.
Yeah, we will.
No, we won't. 3, 4, 1. See 10 people listen to me. Thank you. 590 to go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is on the clock. Look, if there is a progressive / liberal / Marxist communist / whatever the bejeebers you want to put as your synonym there in your life, and their answer to political retribution and political violence coming from the left and Charlie Kirk's assassination. Oh, yeah? Well, you guys did January 6th. If there's a person in your life about that, this is a great opportunity to either figure out it's not worth it to educate them and walk away from the relationship, or to say, you know what, you sure do sound ill-informed. And I'd like to help you because you're an idiot. The January 6th new committee that Congressman Barry Loudermilk has come up with. He's the chairman of the January 6th subcommittee. You know what? We're going to go through this again. We're going to go through this exercise. We're going to beat this pinata again to prove how horrendously January 6th was a setup. How totally from soup to nuts, alpha to omega, this thing was concocted, and we have the goods. And when this all gets blown up to the point that morons who believe that line, well, there was an insurrection. No, the insurrection was of 274 undercover FBI agents milling around in an audience of already heartbroken, highly charged, patriotic American flag waving, peaceful protesters who weren't making enough noise. And so they had to fire rubber bullets and smoke canisters at them. Then they needed to throw a few off of the side of the building, the ledge climbing up the step, throw them off. And you see the video of the one guy, Antifa guy, breaking a window at the Capitol, and an actual January 6th patriot stepping in and being like, yo, what are you doing? Stop it. And the Antifa guy wearing a MAGA hat, because that'll throw off the dogs, cocks back his arm until the patriot guy's like, whoa, okay, you guys do you, whatever. You guys, it's so obvious. And people who are still trumpeting that claim that there was an insurrection need to be aware of what's coming. And we're going to talk about the pipe bomb stuff, because this is what's coming too. And I'm going to read you a little bit from justthenews.com. Well, first of all, did anybody out there actually believe that the pipe bomb situation, when you realized that all of the Secret Service text messages that day, January 5th and 6th, somehow magically evaporated? It must have been a glitch. I don't know what happened. It's sort of like the bulk erasure of all of the video testimonies of all of the people who stood before the January 6th committee. And what do you have? Benny Thompson. He's like, I didn't know we were supposed to keep all of the videos. And you're like, really? It's so obvious. It's so poorly orchestrated. They needed smoke and mirrors and a theatrical production to try to pass it off on you. And yet you have common sense that prevails to this day. And you're like, man, that's really bad. The pipe bombs, though, stupid. All of the text messages with the Secret Service, all those were erased. And then if you saw any of the surveillance video outside of the DNC and the RNC, there was no frantic rush or evacuation when it was revealed that two suspicious, possibly incendiary devices were found outside the DNC and the RNC. I mean, what madness is this? And meantime, we're sitting with Scooby and Shaggy saying, this is the dumbest thing I've seen in a while. And so we needed to call Scooby and Shag in on the case to make sure they could help us out. Thank you.
Where are you? We got some work to do now.
Yeah, we do.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We need some help from you now.
So the unsolved case of two pipe bombs planted at the major political party's headquarters in D.C. right before the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot is facing a little new mystery after the FBI director, Kash Patel, transmitted to Congress the lab analysis and interviews with a key witness who is challenging the official timeline of events. Shut up. What? It's not at all what they said it was? That's so weird. Can I just give you guys the thumbnail? I'm not going to make you wait. So you want to know what these pipe bombs were? There were some paper clips. Seriously, there were paper clips, some steel wool, a 9-volt battery, and a kitchen timer that you can buy at Walmart. That, ladies and gentlemen, ba-da-ba, is your pipe bomb. And they never were supposed to detonate. There really was no incendiary material found in them at all. But it was a logical breadcrumb to drop in the entire theatrical performance called January 6th. By the way, that cost multiple people their lives, none of whom died at the hands of January 6ers. Okay? So the documents obtained by Just the News show that both bombs, one planted at the DNC, the other at the RNC, were filled with black powder. Each was equipped with a 60-minute kitchen timer, and each had some destructive potential. But most notably, the FBI lab report never used the word viable to discover either bomb or to describe either bomb. Both devices never exploded. They were discovered about 16 hours after the FBI claimed they were planted outside both major party headquarters. And neither of these timers, by the way, is 16 hours long. So they were garbage from go. This is what the report said. When properly assembled and initiated, an IED of this sort can cause property damage, bodily injury, or death, the lab report stated. The report offered no clear explanation why the bombs, which it called improvised explosive devices, did not detonate. They weren't supposed to. They weren't bombs. It was a diversion. It was an excuse when there weren't enough people, enough police officers at the Capitol, and it got overrun by rioters and insurrectionists. They tried to overthrow the government, right? They threatened to hang Mike Pence. All of these ridiculous storylines, which got peppered throughout the ridiculosity of January 6th, right? That cost thousands of patriotic Americans years of their lives, if not their lives. Never forget Matt Perna, ever. The pipe bomb, in my mind, Scooby and Shaggy would agree, were excuses. They were diversions, so that when oversight would be like, where were all of the police? Where did they go? Well, we had 2 bomb threats. We had to go send agents or cops hunting and pecking to these other locations, and that pulled them away from the Capitol, and that let those dangerous rioters invade the Capitol building. Or, if you have eyes, you could watch the Capitol police officers move the barricades, open the doors, and welcome people into the building, which seems far less insurrection-y to those of us paying attention. And beyond that, I'll never forget speaking to Jacob Chansley, the QAnon shaman, right? The guy who was escorted by no shortage of 8 or 9 Capitol police officers who literally gave him his own personal guided tour of the inner sanctum of the Capitol, opening up doors for him. You first, shaman man. Jacob Chansley. What happened to him? What did he do? Did he harm anybody? Did he hurt anything? No. You know what he did? He said a prayer. Gave a prayer of thanksgiving, praying for the safety of the Capitol police officers who were such warm and welcome tour guides to him. That's what Jacob Chansley did. And then he walked out of the building. President Trump said on X, everybody go home. Jacob read that tweet to all of the people there, and they laughed. And then Jacob spent months of his life in solitary confinement. So I hope Congressman Loudermilk's new January 6th committee makes quick work of this nonsense because they were never bombs any more than that was an insurrection. Because if the left tells you something, the one thing you can count on is that's not the truth. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Georgia Senator John Ossoff admits something about Joe Biden. What? You knew Joe Biden was in cognitive decline? Get out! It's so obnoxious. You have to laugh, or else you want to throw punch and throw him down the stairs, right? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Is that okay?
Yep. All these things coming out about January 6th that we all knew was BS for 4 years, 5 years. It's just such a... Everything is a distraction from what they really are doing, which is one reason I like Trump. He just says it. Who wasn't thinking James Comey for the last 4 years should have been indicted? He's just saying what everybody else is thinking. By the way, if you're around tomorrow night, 7:15, Mary Walter Radio on Rumble. Mary Walter Radio. I don't know what she's going to ask me. It's just a shame that it's come down to lie after lie after lie. It's still continuing. Will we ever get the truth about the Charlie Kirk assassination? All the questions, and I don't think we'll ever get the truth, ever. And that's all we want is the truth. Just let us decide if we can handle it or not. I mean, you have half the country who can't handle when you call them by the wrong pronoun. So I think we can decide for ourselves.
It's preposterous. So much of what they tell us is freaking preposterous. It's disappointing, but I mean, honest to God, did anybody ever take the pipe bomb story seriously? I mean, that's just the dumbest.
It's the death threat thing. Oh, we have death threats. Everything ends in death threats. Meanwhile, you have Gavin Newsom, press office putting out Stephen Miller's a fascist. Way to turn down the rhetoric.
Kamala saying, we need to fight fire with fire at the Congressional Black Caucus dinner of suck. And she looks drunk. Like she turns around. If you've ever seen people who are in there try to like
stabilize.
Yeah. I've never been drunk, so I don't know.
Me neither. I have always been
one drink and that's it.
Yeah.
That's my limit. Anyway, this lab report, I mean, and the report is preposterous. Literally paper clips, alligator clips, a 9-volt battery, and the outside of a kitchen timer.
If it had bubble gum,
MacGyver would have been all over it.
Yeah.
Right?
He probably went in and diffused it with a stick of bubble gum.
We need B.A. Baracus. That's who we need. We need the A team. 450 people to go. I'm not saying it's possible. I'm just saying it's within reach. And I'm not going to try to browbeat anymore. You know what you're going to do.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not. This is one of the dumber stories you'll get today.
There's a lot.
There are quite a few. Look at you, 7,500 people in strong, 1,400 on X. Let's go. I love you guys. Now freaking rumble. Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I did not give Brock the requisite heads up to play the breaking news sounder because, quite frankly, this is one of those bombshells that, oh,
Wendy
jeez,
Bell,
look at that.
Breaking news.
I mean, like, it's amazing. Who could have possibly known? Brock, are you ready?
I don't know if I'm ready to handle the truth.
I'm just telling you. Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff says he knew Joe Biden was in mental collapse. I know. Look at the shock.
Wait, was this before or after Jake Tapper's book, though? That's what we don't
Jake didn't
know.
know. He didn't know a daggone thing until his book was published. And then he's like, look, you should buy my book, right? This is the dumbest thing I've heard in the last 15 minutes. Senator Jon Ossoff admits Democrats downplayed Joe Biden's decline during the 2024 election. Oh my gosh, really? It's understandable that you're not going to be inclined to do or to say things that might weaken that presumptive nominee against Trump. Trump is like this. He owns everybody. Like, honestly, he lives in people's minds. I don't get it. What is it about the guy? Honest to God, what is it? See, I look at him. See, I kind of look at Donald Trump the way a lot of people looked at Rush Limbaugh. People on the left, right? Rush Limbaugh was evil. He was dark. He's conservative. He's funny. And he's got a huge audience. He's giant. He's bigger than anything else. I hate him. Rush was, I think, so docile. I thought he was hilarious. He called himself an adorable fuzzball. I mean, the guy was so misunderstood, but purposefully so on the left because he was so threatening, because he had this beautiful ability to slice through all of the ridiculosity and call a spade and walk away from it and have tens, if not hundreds of millions of people hear him and believe him. And therefore they hated him. Trump is the same. It's the same thing. Maybe on a different level. Obviously, you're talking about different job descriptions, but the same level of ire. Donald Trump is the left's boogeyman because there's no separating you from Trump. There's no carving you away from Donald Trump. And even when Donald Trump goes away, there's that overarching connection that will not be separated. You and MAGA. You and this greater idea about American exceptionalism. It's wholesome. It's pure. It feels right. So for Jon Ossoff to come out and to say, look, we'll do anything to stop Donald. We lied. I lied. I knew Biden was cooked, right? Let's hear what he said. And then you decide how you feel. Can you trust somebody who's so willing to lie about something that's so clear to everybody even nominally paying attention? I mean, imagine if this senator actually had something serious you needed to depend on him about. Listen.
When you're facing the specter of Donald Trump potentially being reelected to the presidency, and you have in the sitting president the presumptive nominee, it's understandable that you're not going to be inclined to do or say things that might weaken that presumptive nominee against Trump, given the threat that he posed and poses.
Now, we call that lying. You might call that politics. I call that lying. How would you be able to go on camera and be interviewed by anybody and lie through your teeth like Chris Coons, like Jamie Raskin, like Chuck Schumer, like who's the guy in the South, who's the black guy in the South that that Biden needed all the votes from South Carolina? I forget. Totally forgetting his name. Why would these people go on and lie? Because they're dirtbags? Probably, yeah. But it was so important for the grift, for their own corruption, for their own money laundering schemes, for their own survival. They all wanted to stay in power. That's it. Nutshell. Doesn't matter what happens to you. Doesn't matter what happened to the poor people who got caught in the trap called January 6th. It doesn't matter who's the collateral damage and the casualties of war. Doesn't matter if big pharma products kill you or injure you forever or your children. Doesn't matter. If there's money to make, if there's a job to save, if there's a way to be in power in perpetuity, tell me what I need to do. I will lie. Maybe that's the bigger problem. We have a major integrity problem. Major. John Ossoff, you are a disgrace to your oath of office. Period. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, this is a reckoning of the left's own making. Miranda Devine, author of Laptop from Hell, writer for the New York Post, has a phenomenal retrospective. Don't forget what these people did to us. Next. Why can't I think
Were
of
you
his...
talking about James Clyburn?
Thank you.
Okay.
That's it.
I didn't know if you were talking about him or Warnock.
No, Warnock is just, he's a dirty man of the cloth who's like a slumlord. Scumbag. Whatever. I'm so upset I couldn't think of his name. Meanwhile, people are like, Clyburn. I didn't catch it fast enough, guys. Sorry. All right, let's see how you're doing. 3.62. Morgane's Fitness. Kelly Morgan, Morgane's Fitness. This is her merch sale. I'm going to go on her website right now and see if I think it's still going on through the end of September. So you got another couple days. Look, if you like working out or you're trying to get into it, but you don't have the right gear, I'm just saying you can support a sponsor of ours. And by the way, here we go. Sale ends October 12th. Morgane's Fitness Fall Spirit Sale. Now, if she's smart, she's not modeling her own gear in her pictures because the woman has negative body fat, which is very annoying. Oh, apparel. She's got the tees, the men's stuff, hoodies, tank tops, ladies apparel. She's got the crisscross. She's got the razor. She's got the normal back. She's got shorts. It's just so cute. Yeah.
I like the sleeveless shirts. Oh, compression.
That's what we all need, right?
Yeah,
I need to be compressed. Show me how I look like a stuffed sausage.
I was just gonna say I look like 5 pounds of potato salad in a 1 pound bag, spilling out.
Shut up. I do like that shirt. See, the problem is you have to have good looking arms if you're going to wear that. And you probably don't because you're going to a gym and nobody gives a fat rip because the whole point is to get better at the gym. But I don't know. It's sort of like I'm not going to wear a half shirt if I'm 45 pounds overweight.
Yeah. My half shirts are just too small,
Those aren't by design.
And then you do the,
the stretch and push.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right. Let's see how you guys are doing. I think I'm trying to figure out if I hit all of our people. Who can you think of?
I believe you did.
Yeah, I think I was.
On top of it.
Fuego. I know, so good.
If I said tonight, I meant tomorrow night. I'll be on with Mary at 7:15 p.m.
Well, I'm so intrigued that she didn't ask me to do anything. It's all the behind.
I'll send you the link. You can surprise her.
No.
What?
No, she didn't invite me. Why would I crash her party?
Oh, she'd enjoy it.
No, she would not.
Yeah. Really?
Is this her Mary Walter radio show?
Yes.
That you started?
No, she had it. I told her to put it on.
That you nudged her for?
To put on Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to send you the link. That way, if you pop on, you pop on. If you don't, it'll be a surprise to her. And that's kind of fun, too. To surprise her. Oh, yeah. If she's not expecting it. Mm-hmm.
So this is
Throw a
interesting.
curveball.
So when Newsmax gave me this Common Sense show, and they said, so why don't we do this thing? You're a radio host. We'll get radio panelists, and we'll get them from around the country. And I didn't know any of them. I don't pay attention. Right? I don't know who these people are. So they send me their names and their phone numbers and their email addresses, and I have to write them into my intros. Let's meet the panel. Up first, we got so-and-so, Ari Hoffman, the host of the Ari Hoffman Show. He writes for the Post Millennial. He's a KVI in Seattle. We've got Dan, McDonald. No, Dan O'Connell. I'm thinking Tom McDonald. How you doing? Anyway, so I called them all in advance. Every single one of them to introduce myself. Like, you're going to be on the show. You should probably figure out who I am. And Mary was totally taken aback by it. She's like, hi. And I was like, hey, this is Wendy Bell. You're going to be on my show. She's like, right. I'm like, so tell me about yourself. And she's like, this is kind of weird.
This is not what people do.
This is not what people do. And I'm like, well, I want to know.
Talk to the host. I talk to the booker.
I'm like, well, I want to know who you are. Like, where are you from? What do you do? Are you married? Do you have kids? How old are you? And she's like, yo, hey, ho. And I'm like, really? Like, how long have you been doing this? And what's your background? And what do you care about? And we had a great conversation. It only lasted like 15 minutes. But I remember she was like, you realize that that's really weird. And I'm like, well, I think it makes a more authentic television show. Like, for me to take 15 minutes and reach out and say, hi, you're going to be on the show, and I'm super grateful, and I hope it works out. And if there's anything I can do to make it easier for you, let me know. Here's my phone number. Text me, call me, whatever. I don't know. I would appreciate that.
I would too.
Wouldn't you?
And Mary, don't start rumors. Mary is not trying to steal me. Wendy would be lost without me.
More Gains Fitness.
Wow.
MORGAINZ fitness.com.
Wendy would be lost without Brock. 1 for yes, 2 for no.
366. Yeah, but if Brock crashes into a tree, then Wendy has no Wendy show. So Brock needs to find somebody to fill in for him. 1, 2, no.
For when he wrecks into a tree.
No,
Boy,
for whatever.
Well, wishing for my demise.
Absolutely not. That would just mean a lot of work for me.
I stopped an old man along the way, hoping to find some old forgotten words or ancient melodies. He turned to me as if to say, hurry boy, it's waiting there for you. Gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I guess the rain's down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things we never did.
Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I don't know if you guys read the New York Post at all, but there seems to be a dearth in the world of conservative publishing out there. I think the New York Post does a very fair job, and I think probably their highest star, their brightest shining star is Miranda Devine. This is the woman who broke the laptop from hell, broke the book, tell-all book. She was the one who pushed out this reporting when we had 51 former intelligence officials sign some stupid letter that all of us knew was garbage. She was the one who put it out there. She was dogged, she was determined, and the president is very appreciative of her efforts. I've seen a few of her podcasts with him, and I think it's great. Good for her. She deserves it. She wrote an article, an op-ed that appeared today. And this opinion piece, I think, is really well done because it reminds us where we are when the left wants to say that President Trump or the Republicans are weaponizing their control of the federal government to go after their political enemies. Well, no, that's not what we're doing. We believe that if you broke the law, you should be held accountable, right? And that's the process. So she writes this article, and this is the headline. She says, this is a reckoning of James Comey's own making and Dems for weaponizing justice system first. Ready? Great story. In the wake of James Comey's indictment, Democrats like Senator Richard Blumenthal and Representative Eric Swalwell are issuing dark warnings with a straight face that, quote, what goes around comes around, and that anybody who cooperates with Donald Trump's vengeance prosecutions will face retribution when Democrats are back in charge. But their threats fall on deaf ears because they started it. Democrats long ago weaponized the justice system against their political opponents. In fact, let us count the ways. This is a great little thing for you to keep in mind if you're dealing with that person in your family who still doesn't have a clue in the world what they're talking about, but they still talk in very loud volumes about stuff they are ignorant about. On President Joe Biden's watch, Trump faced 4 separate indictments with 88 criminal charges. More than 1,500 Trump supporters were arrested and over-prosecuted in the J6 investigation. Trump advisors Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro were jailed for contempt of Nancy Pelosi's J6 Star Chamber. Trump advisor Roger Stone was arrested at dawn in a heavy-handed SWAT raid. Comey entrapped Trump National Security Advisor General Michael Flynn. The DOJ, FBI, and IRS covered up Biden corruption and jailed whistleblowers Gail Luft and Alexander Smirnov, to name a few. Conservatives of every stripe were under legal assault. The FBI spied on school board meetings and Catholics at Latin Mass. FBI agents were subjected to politically motivated loyalty tests to weed out those suspected of supporting Trump. Biden pressured AG Merrick Garland to investigate Trump and lay off his son, only he did it through anonymous leaks to the New York Times rather than out in the open on Truth Social. James Comey deserves our utter contempt for the damage he did to our system of justice, along with the rule of law, says Mike Flynn. Like Comey, Flynn was charged with making false statements to government officials during an official proceeding. Flynn to the FBI, Comey to Congress. In January 2017, days after Trump took office, Comey sent 2 FBI agents to visit Flynn, the newly appointed National Security Advisor, to question him about legitimate phone calls he had with Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak after the election. Flynn was charged with making false statements to the FBI, which he denied. But when prosecutors threatened to charge his son, he pled guilty. I sent them the agents, Comey bragged of his violation of policy in an onstage interview with MSNBC's Nicole Wallace. Something I wouldn't have done or gotten away with a more organized administration, say in the George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration, he said. But I thought, it's early enough. Let's just send in a couple of guys over, right? The audience laughed. For Flynn, a military veteran and patriot of whose advice Trump never got the benefit, Comey's idle abuse of power led to years of torment. He lost his house, his business, and most of his savings fighting the case before Trump pardoned him. What he did to my family, to the Trump administration, to the people of America is unforgivable, says Flynn. He should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. Another Trump intimate, Roger Stone, was charged with the same offenses as Comey, making false statements to Congress and obstruction of a congressional proceeding, like Flynn over fake Russia collusion allegations. Yet, unlike Comey, Stone wasn't afforded the genteel route of turning himself into authorities at his leisure. In the pre-dawn darkness of January 25th, 2019, a heavily armed FBI SWAT team stormed Stone's house with a CNN camera crew in tow to capture his distress as he and his wife were marched outside in their pajamas at gunpoint. Stone lost his home, his savings, his insurance, and even his car in the endless legal saga, which only ended when Trump pardoned him. There is no better example of the two-tiered justice system, says Stone. You forget all this, don't you? The judge issued a broad gag order preventing me from defending myself in public, arguing that my public defense could taint the jury pool, of which, of course, does not explain why she left the gag order in place after my conviction and after I was sentenced, he said, wondering, why is there no gag order on James Comey? Well, good question. As soon as he was indicted last week, Comey posted a self-righteous, self-pitying video of himself on Instagram, declaring his innocence and posing as a resistance hero. My family and I have known for years that there are costs for standing up to Donald Trump, but we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, he said. Peter Navarro, another senior advisor in Trump's first administration, was jailed last March for 4 months for defying a congressional subpoena from the J6 committee, the first time in 40 years that anyone had been sentenced to jail for contempt of Congress. Like Stone, Navarro wants to know why Comey's being treated with kid gloves, in contrast to his own brutal arrest in 2022 at Reagan National Airport as he boarded a plane for Nashville. He was handcuffed, shackled in leg irons, strip searched, and thrown in a jail cell. How come Comey is allowed to self-surrender when they sent 5 armed FBI agents to take me down, he asked. My message to the Republican National Convention the day I got out of prison was simple. If we don't hold them accountable, they will do it again, says Navarro, who just published a book about his ordeal. I went to prison, so you won't have to. They include not just Comey, but Obama, Clinton, Clapper, Lisa Page, Peter Strzok, Rod Rosenstein, and the FBI agent who put me in the leg irons, Walter Giardina, he says. No martyrs among them, only perpetrators. He could have added other devious former coup plotters, such as CIA Director John Brennan, New York AG Letitia James, Democrat Senator Adam Schiff, who are currently under investigation. Steve Bannon is another former Trump advisor attacked with Democrat lawfare, who, like Navarro, was jailed for contempt of Congress. He describes the Comey indictment as merely an appetizer for a full meal we're going to ram down the throat of the deep state. The internal enemies of our country better lawyer up, because justice is being served in the best way possible, cold and hard. Back when the shoe was on the other foot, the same Democrats and their media handmaidens, who are now hyperventilating about Comey getting the start of his just desserts, couldn't wait to get to a microphone to say no one is above the law. Even when the FBI conducted an armed raid on the home of a former president, Trump's Mar-a-Lago, and rifled through Melania Trump's underwear drawer, Dems just smirked and said, we believe in the rule of law, so spare us the outrage. The indictment of Comey is only unprecedented in the sense that Republicans have not played the game before. But now they're on the field, and it's scorched earth time. Expect more indictments as soon as this week. It's not revenge. It's accountability. It's a necessary squaring up, evening the ledger, building deterrence. As President Trump said last week, you can't let this go on. They are sick, radical left people, and they can't get away with it. Now, I think that is absolutely blistering and a very succinct and quick walk down memory lane, right? Now, as that's percolating in your mind, I want to drop on you a new Reuters Ipsos poll, which may be the worst for Democrats yet. And I'm going to open this link, newsweek.com. Well, the title says it all. Is this the worst poll of the year for Democrats? And I'm going to read you, this is it. While President Trump's approval rating dipped to 41% in the latest Reuters Ipsos poll, Republicans outperformed Democrats on nearly every major policy category. Asked which party had a better plan to deal with crime, 40% picked Republicans compared to 20% for Democrats. The gap was nearly as wide on immigration, where Republicans led 40-22, even as public opinion has made a thermostatic turn this year under Trump, with majorities now saying immigrants benefit the U.S. At least that's what Gallup polling submits. Even more striking from the Reuters poll, where the GOP leads on topics where Democrats have traditionally performed well. On corruption, Republicans led by 6 points. On gun control, along a litmus test for Democrats, Republicans are now ahead by 4 points. And the trend continued across national security and economic issues. Republicans held a 12-point advantage on their ability to manage foreign conflicts and a 10-point lead on managing the U.S. economy. When it came to political extremism, voters were split almost evenly. 30% said Republicans had the better plan, 26% chose Democrats, and the rest were undecided or picked neither. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. And the polling approval for the Democratic Party, you ready? This one says it's now 30%. Whatever. Who needs polling? You guys have eyes. You have ears. You know what's going on out there. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, disgraced former Trump attorney Michael Cohen dropped something on an MSNBC panel that literally left them speechless. It's fantastic. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I love Miranda Devine. You know, writing those articles is like, that's a pretty big lift because you've got one thesis. Democrats did this to themselves, but then you've got to like fill in all of the spokes of that wheel. And I think she did it really cogently, really well. I think she's fantastic.
I agree.
Nicole Wallace ain't no Miranda Devine. All right, are we close?
No.
Aw. You didn't even look and you said no.
373. I refreshed. Let's see how close we are to the follow.
What the heck is that?
It's been that way the whole show.
Why didn't you say something? See, because you don't care. You didn't pay attention to it.
We're 38 away from 70.8. So if you haven't followed yet, now's your chance. You too want to be one of the cool kids.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit more achievable today than our. I'm going to go with Brock on that one.
Why is that not working?
Which is a bummer.
There we go. I'm going to have to check my brakes before I do a brake check before I go home.
Why is that?
Oh, you have me hitting a tree.
A brake check. Because, you know, you could see me fiddling with something under the hood.
Well, brakes wouldn't be under
This
the
must
hood.
be it. Well, exactly. There you go. Proof is in the pudding, right? Tapioca.
Well, you could pay someone to do it.
I just did a bank shot and made it. Who likes tapioca pudding? See, and then people sneak in like raisins.
Yeah, why? It's good the way it is. Don't tamper with it. Don't.
Why? Why?
Why?
It's such madness, and it's so not the right flavor. And then it leaves residual juicy parts to it too. Brock and I were talking about tapioca, like out of the blue. I'm like, I could go for some tapioca right now. Doesn't that sound good? See, my kids have never had it because Joe doesn't like it, so I never had it at home. I know. They're so sheltered.
They are. How can you say your kids have steak all the time, but not tapioca pudding?
They don't have steak all the time. We probably have it, I don't know, once a week.
Oh.
But it's not steak. It could be steak. It could be ground beef.
No.
And we probably have meat 3 times a week.
You have steak probably once a week.
No, we don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, we really don't.
You really do.
You know what?
You make sure to tell me. And
Friday is coming around real quick. There we go. That's much better.
no, it's not.
No, it's not.
Nice try, though. Good cover.
I'm trying, but oh my God, shucks. Okay. Oh.
Chocolate or vanilla? What?
There's chocolate tapioca.
No. Ooh, God, no.
No, why would you
why
ever do
tamper?
that?
If it's perfect, why tamper with it? What's the purpose?
Because somebody obviously doesn't think it's perfect.
Well, then they're wrong.
Wow.
They're wrong.
Mm.
Get your shizzle together if you
Wow.
don't think
It's
tapioca.
easy for you to say.
Yeah.
You sounded like Kamala Harris.
Wow.
5-5.
Oh, won't you take me home tonight? Oh, and you give it all you got. Fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' world go round.
Well, here we are. We've come to that delicate crossroads on a Monday where I know you're worried because it's only like 5 minutes to go before the end of the show. But hey, if I can leave you with a little Michael Cohen, right? It's almost as good as ending with Joy Reid or some such nonsense, right? I want you to hear this because there's an MSNBC panel. If you guys ever just kind of float through the channels or you see any of these audio sound bites pop up in your news feed on social media, and you happen to just give it a few minutes and hear what they say. There's no actual objective, reasonable, rational reporting. It's all reactive. It's all spin and damage control. It's based on feelings. Donald Trump is all about revenge. He's just obsessed with people. He's going to go, he's so mean. He tried to destroy me. Nobody cares. Stop it. Please. Here's Michael Cohen's stunning and MSNBC panel that had kind of been happily existing in their own little echo chamber until this very moment. Like, I don't know what you think you're going to get when you bring this cat on to be on your panel, but they're expecting him to be like, James Comey didn't do anything wrong. This is total manipulation and weaponization of the federal government. Yeah, that's not what they got from this guy, Michael Cohen. Here you go.
Do any of us actually really know whether or not Comey is or is not guilty of the charges? I know that they parade out all of these pundits. They have the great titles in the Chiron, former prosecutor, yada, yada, former FBI. Who's seen a single document that's in the possession right now of the DOJ? The answer is nobody. Who has the crystal ball? Still nobody. I will tell you from my investigation, which I used Brian Karem, who's a 30-year White House correspondent, to speak to people inside government because they wouldn't talk to me. I've learned that Comey was actually very much involved in the Russia investigation in a very negative way. And chances are this DOJ has every single email, every text message, every communication. I believe likely he will be found guilty.
Oh, well, that's interesting because
I think he likely committed a crime.
Wait, what? What
I
specifically?
believe likely he committed a crime. I don't know what that crime is, but there are hundreds of thousands of documents, and government has each and every one of them. All they need to find is that one.
All you need to find is that one. Well, I think the strategy that this Department of Justice, and Michael Cohen's right, nobody has seen a single shred of the evidence that Donald Trump's Department of Justice has against James Comey. And yet they go out there on the weekend shows acting as though they are experts. There's no evidence. They don't know what they're doing. He says, if this dude's been indicted, they have the goods. They have all the goods. But I think Trump has had the goods since December 20th of 2021. Since he left office and was planning on handing out to everybody and his brother in the media the Crossfire Hurricane top super secret binder. Shows all the players, shows all of their roles, shows everything that they were doing. And then there was this frantic rush. Get the binders back. Trump has it all. But he's going to go after these people for stuff that you and I, if we did the same thing under similar circumstances, would be thrown in prison for. That's how you connect with the American people. not by going after some white collar crime per se, but by the things that they're doing behind the scenes. Because you're not supposed to lie, right? You're not supposed to mislead while you've been sworn in. You're not supposed to lie and deceive a congressional panel. That's like creme de la creme, number one on the list of don't do this that they've decided to do. Mortgage fraud, felony stuff for perjury. You've got Hillary and the bookkeeping of the Clinton crime family stuff. They're going to let her nasty little email server go. But there are 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at them. And when you do it with the good old-fashioned laws that you and I are expected to abide to as well, now you're talking something a little different. And every talking head on the left who's screaming weaponization sounds awfully nervous, don't they? I love it when a plan comes together. Thanks for being part of the Wendy Bell Radio program. Hope you come on back tomorrow. Bring a friend. Get the app, Wendy Bell Radio. Get the podcast, Wendy Bell Radio. Just keep coming back. We love you guys. Peace.